Hello and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Luce, and tonight we have the Melee Roll Quest. I went ahead and, as you can see, I mixed up my glamour a little. Not too much, mostly just recoloring weapon and stuff, but hopefully it looks nicer. But yeah, normally I don't stream tonight, but I found myself with a bit of free time, and I figured, you know what? It should only take a little bit to do the roll quest for Melee, so we're going to be doing that. Hunter and Hunted. Sheshipia seeks an adventure who likes getting up close and personal. That's what a Reaper does. Hello there, I take it you've spoken Brokovu. Willing to lend a hand? Yep, I'm told you needed a melee specialist, and that's what I am. I'm truly grateful. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sheshipia, and I've traveled far from my village in the forests of Zuktaral in search of brave soul that will retrieve our stolen treasure. For generations, my people have watched over the Dreamweave cocoon, the vessel in which a power of the swallowtail Vadral is sealed. Before its ascension, it warded off would-be predators by assuming the form of more threatening butterflies, poisonous ones, and like, through its skill at mimicry. So it survived day after day, summer after summer, until the dawn of its new existence, it became capable of taking the form of any creature which crossed its path. The fearsome power was sealed within the cocoon, and any who possessed it contained the self-same abilities. Indeed, the wielder too may assume any matter of beast or man they beheld. A copy, eh? Yeah, this mimicry is not limited to merely physical. No, the wielder can replicate talents and abilities, so long as such actions fall within their ken, that is. In an instant, they could become a master of a hunt, or twin-blade wielding viper, or savage brox with claws and fangs to gut whomever they please. It's this power which protected my village from predators of the forest. Though it grants many boons, the forest contains threats in equal measure. By donning the skins of formidable beasts, we've kept ourselves safe for generations. Without Cocoon, my village's very survival is at risk, and that's why we have to send our foremost hunter at Oka until it's been reclaimed. She's never failed to capture a quarry, so I thought she'd make short work of this ordeal, yet there's been no word from her. I fear this may be a hunt she cannot undertake alone. For that reason, I wish to enlist the aid of one familiar with the land beyond the Great Sea, one whose prowess in close quarters would complement her expertise with the bow. One of the villagers ran to the thief before he fled. He intends to use the Cocoon's power in Kugane, which I understand is a larger settlement located far to east. Please, for the sake of my home, set off for the eastern habitation. Assist Totoka with retrieving the cocoon. Alright, leave it to me. I've earned more than enough money this expansion so far. I can certainly afford my own teleportation. Your willingness is most assuring. You have my heartfelt thanks. Upon arriving in the eastern land, search for a Vera woman carrying a bow and dressed in a similar attire to myself. If you visit a tavern like this one, I dare say you may find someone who's seen her. Luckily, that attire kind of stands out, so I should be able to find it fairly quickly. Find it out quickly. Once you have arrived, travel to a tavern. This fancy woman description have her leather strength. Pretty expensive, but it should be more up here. Alright, yeah. It was nice having Wickelmot play Mr. Satan to my Z fighters here so that I could just enjoy the summer vacation, but it's time to get back in the saddle and be the main hero again. I just now realize people could take that statement I just made in any number of different ways. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not gonna argue whether you should or should not. To like that situation, it's just, yeah, I'm just gonna let people be. No. Last from Troll. Sorry, I can't help you. That reminds me, though. I heard Troll has its own variety of spirits called Mezcal. Been meaning to taste it myself for an age now, but you have no idea how hard it is to get one's hands on the bottle of it here. I'll have to keep that in mind. Also, yeah, I've got I don't remember if I mentioned it last time, but yeah, the Palo Pillow were actually from Final Fantasy X, but for some reason I completely forgot about it when I was doing the story proper. I have no idea how that happened. I even talked about some of the major scenes from Final Fantasy X while I was doing the main story just because of how big of an impact they had on me, and yet I forgot something that major. Guess it's been a while. Well, welcome to Shikozi Holstery. How may I serve you? You're searching for someone. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing a Vera woman described later, but I'm afraid I cannot tell you where she may be now. Stormblood, well, actually, I don't think any of the main themes have missed so far. I also recall watching a YouTube video recently that showed that they actually share some musical motifs between each and every one. Kinda neat. Imagine that's by design as well. A Vera woman wearing a bow? Well, yes, I do recall such a person. It was hard not to notice her, really, given how she was peering at every little thing. She came from distant lands of the west, no doubt. No doubt Dukukane is quite an unusual sight for her. With any luck, she'll be where I saw her, vicinity of the barracks. Oh, thanks for the follow, Alice. Alice. I stream just about anything here, so feel free to stop by if something catches your eye. I don't think I'm ever going to be getting that one, or at least not anytime soon. Basically, in order to get that lookout spot, you have to do the jumping puzzle to climb to the top of the tower and jump and land properly here. It's as tricky as it sounds. I know there's guides and stuff that explain how to do it, and there's a couple ways to cheese it, but I don't feel that confident, let's just say. Itoka-esque woman. There we are. Hey, buddy, I was instructed to look around. The city's simply too large for me to cover alone. Perhaps it's time I returned home. Excuse me. Are you Itoka? Itaka? I'm not sure how to pronounce it, honestly. Yes, I'm she, and you are? I was instructed specifically to come to your aid. I see. Trishepia was always a worrywart. Won't deny I appreciate the help, though. Ascertaining the whereabouts of the cocoon has certainly been no easy task. I managed to secure room and board in this lodging upon arriving to Kugane, and I've been using it as a base to track down the thief ever since. I'll tell you all I know. According to the eyewitness from my village, the thief is a middle-aged Hurrian male. That's about all we have to go on regarding his appearance. Yet, so long as he possessed the cocoon, he could be anyone and anything. An elderly woman traipsing alongside the street, a child throwing a ball, mayhap even a dog chasing after it. Truth be told, I was nigh at wit's end trying to find him. That is until I discovered a series of unusual squabbles that have been occurring around the city. After investigating these incidents, I found one commonality. An instigator, in each case, has no recollection of the incident, let alone inciting it. What's more, eerie accounts have become to circulate among the residents. Some folk claim somehow been seen at two places at once. Based on all this, I believe the thief's been using the Dreamweave cocoon to transform into innocence and spread discord. Stands a reason we could find him by following the trail in his wake, no? And should we apprehend him in whatever form he's hidden, there's nothing stopping him from feigning ignorance. And yet if we apprehend him, besides the secret remedy, of course, a recipe for an elixir which can forcibly remove the enchantment has been passed down my village for emergencies like this. I've made sure to prepare a few before making the voyage. I just need to simply throw the solution, and the cocoon's weave will unfurl. That covers everything. Now what do you say if we see if there's any trouble afoot? The thief will undoubtedly not be too far from it. Let me know when you're ready. We'll catch him together. Ready to set off then? Perfect. I say we begin our search for the markets. I recall a great number of people gathering there, I believe it was called. Look like someone else is doing the same time. I was hoping by taking my time with the main story, others wouldn't be doing this, but oh well. Talk about cities. To think all this was wrought by mortal hands, remarkable. My people have ever lived in harmony with nature, but that doesn't mean we condemn the ways of those who choose otherwise. In fact, in my brief time, I've been exposed to settlements like this. I've come across places and have their merits too. Oh well, that's nice. Let's talk a bit. Rare these days, my people leave the shelter and bounty found within the forest boughs. I was speechless when I first laid eyes on Tuliolol, a city with as many people as trees in the forest, and Kugalane is no less dense. Oh yeah, this place is probably the biggest in the Far East. Surveying. Look, you thieving! Oh, I told you this isn't enough. Looks like there's something going on here. I imagine if he can mimic anyone, he's gonna try and mimic us, but there's no way, there's certain... But sir, that cannot be right. I gave you the charge in full. Enough, handle the money or take it by force. Let's keep watching. Wasn't obvious? No one gets outworked over a handful of coins unless they're looking for trouble. Well, it could just be someone's a dick. Reveal yourself villain. What the blazes think you're doing? Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. Oh dear. 1,000 apologies, sir. I greatly miscalculated your change. I'll return what you're owed, and I do beg your forgiveness. Okay, so I knew it was a good idea to avoid leaping in too much. And we could have gotten... Maybe we could have hit both if we hit in the middle, for example. That would have saved Vile. But at the same time... That was a bit of a misunderstanding, apparently. I apologize for the disturbance. That was dreadfully embarrassing. The hunter doesn't quite... Well, a hunter doesn't quit after a single arrow misses the mark. Best not dwell on what's done. Instead, focus on the next course of action. Let's see how things are in Koganedori. Sounds good to me. Where are these days? Oh. Oh. Oh, right. There's an area on the bridge I probably should have done. Yeah, I don't want to miss these. Yeah, I absolutely should have done these first instead of just teleporting over. Whoops. Oh well, I still have time to correct that mistake. Talk about the sea. I cannot believe how impossibly vast it is. My jaw dropped when I first saw it. I could hardly fathom where the horizon ended and the sea began. Before arriving to Uliolol, I'd imagined the sea to be a simply larger, saltier body of water than a lake back home. There, we'd race shore to shore. To attempt the same here, I fear, would have much more fatal results. Indeed, you need a lot of more preparation when traveling across this particular sea. Same as before. Well, I think that was still worth it just to get them one convo I apparently missed. Like I said, I appreciate the escorts teleport with you now. They were introduced in Endwalker and took a bit of working, but I think it's a bit better now. I do wish they kept the roleplay missions, though. I really loved those in the main story, but... Well, they had a bunch in Stormblood. They gradually had less and less until Dawntrail only had the one it had. Very unfortunate. Those are some of my favorites. Alrighty. I'll cut you down where you stand, you lecherous lummox. What's going on here? Big bloke yonder allegedly laid his hands on the Grizzlefell's woman. Afraid this may come to blows. Calm yourself, man. I'm not done what she claims. Dare to insult her injury by calling her a liar? Ignore him. I told you that fate fouled me. Cut him down this instant. There's no truth to her words. Wherefore does she spout such rubbish? Kami, give me strength. Cut him down already. That almost sounds suspiciously like... Let's see here. Yes, not unless your head shoulder conserves penitence for a crime. Yeah, always be suspicious when you want someone executed on the spot, because that usually means don't let them talk because they have that usually means they have information that would ruin everything for them. Very well, let my braid prove my innocence. It's her, right? Seems... Well, I mean, you could get two people at once if you aim it right. Wow, he really wasn't trying with that. A ninja, I should have realized. Was that truly necessary? No matter, I was growing weary of this petty farce. It's time to move on to bigger and better things. So that's the relic in question. Darn, I should have been a ranged DPS. Oh no, you don't. Oh right, I have a ranged DPS with me. Since he's not naturally a flyer, then it's unlikely he has the experience to dodge something mid-air. So she might have the advantage. Oh darn. That's funny. It goes back to eating before he realized the problem. Okay, so perhaps I guess she's not the best at aiming. How odd, my bow is more out of tune than I realized. Oh, sweetheart. Is it really you? Oh, thank the Kami you're safe. Now, I found her lying unconscious in the alleyway. She could only vaguely recall being attacked from behind before losing consciousness. That sounds like something a ninja does, yeah? So the villain knocked her out before assuming her visage in a ploy to deceive her husband. I fell for the deception like a complete and utter fool. I don't know how to begin to make amends. There are no amends to be made. You simply acted as any husband would. Due to your involvement, this matter was resolved without bloodshed. This Sike Sengumi. Thank you. It is regrettable, however, the villain managed to escape. A criminal that can change shape is extremely dangerous. Know that we will alert the populace of the menace and remain vigilant for any suspicious activity in the city. I imagine he's probably going to make sure to move on soon enough, just because he now knows people will be on the lookout for the possibility of clones. Let's return to my lodgings. I'd like to go over where we stand with our elusive quarry. That said, that might be being a bit generous, because at the end of the day, the ability to copy anyone is pretty powerful, especially since it's one of those things that won't be figured out until much later down the line. And of course, by then it might be too late. I just hope we don't get forced to do a tailing mission, but since that's a ninja, we might. Granted, I do think they're handled a lot better in this expansion than previous ones, but it's a lot of times they felt kind of like filler and Endwalker. And especially, I think I even mentioned at one point, I really hated the one quest where the person you're tailing specifically goes around one of the objects to your clear hiding spot to go, aha, and force you to restart at least once. But luckily, none of them were that stupid, where they explicitly force you to do it. It's a bit video gamey with all the UI stuff, but that also makes it more tolerable, so it's kind of a give and take. As predicted, the thief's been using Kakuna Power's mimicry to cause conflict. What he hopes to accomplish is unclear, however, and as long as he has this power, soul means that tracking him remains a havoc left in his wake. A trying trail for any hunter, but I'm heartened to have a warrior like you besides me. We'll catch him together. When we do, we'll met out the justice he deserves, Coda. A sea of blood. A storm of blood, if you will. Eager to continue the hunt. Glad to see you again, Coda. For better or worse, I haven't heard any unusual incidents in Kugane since our last altercation. There may be reason for that, however. Do you remember we claimed he was moving to bigger and better things? If we catch him, we may have to expand the scope beyond Kugane. Yet he traveled all the way from Troll to the Eastern Land for a reason. I can't imagine he'd go too far. Are there any other settlements? The Ruby Sea is dotted with settlements. People live out in those waters, but so vast, how to even begin? I know a group of pirates there who happen to know a bit. Ah, so the Bakufu has an outpost to the Ruby Price? Sounds like the perfect place to start. Let's make our way there and avail ourselves of the soldiers' intel. If anything out of the ordinary has occurred, no doubt they'll be aware of it. Shall we? Hostily. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be easier if I just go out of Kokane that way. So, Ruby Price. Yeah, it'll just be easier if I teleport this way. Ikaruga. Here we are. Ikaruga, pretty good game, by the way. If you like that type of genre, anyway. Well, this is unexpected. What brings you to the Ruby Price? This is gonna sound a little weird, but... Disputes? Strange you ask. Not even a moon ago, the waters of the Ruby Sea were poisoned, and poison turned to a sanguinary shade. Please, tell us everything. A Confederate skiff approached the Ruby Price without authorization. An occupant began hurling insult and attempt to provoke us. We didn't succumb, however. After warning the vessel would fire if he drew on. He withdrew without a word. However, should they attempt to provoke us, we won't display the same level of restraint. And the roar of cannon shall signal their comrades rally in full force. The waters will flow red. Of that, there can be no doubt. Tensions run high, and not like this has ever occurred. I see. Thank you for information. Might we speak privately? Yeah, no doubt about it. This guy's trying to sort of fight between Kagane's soldiers and the pirates. Especially since he knows if he pushes it hard enough, it's going to open fire rather than negotiation. Based on the testimony, I gather there's agreement in these waters. The Confederates are not here, guarded as it is by Bukufu sentries. If that's the case, the soldier stated, I can only conclude the vessel earlier was attempting to incite dispute, which fits the modus operandi. Perhaps it was he who sailed here under the banner of the Confederates. Whatever the case may be, we have nothing but conjecture. We need solid evidence before we can alert the soldiers here of the threat. I doubt they'll heed our warnings otherwise. First, we'll verify if any members of the Confederacy actually approached. Do you know their base of operations? Yes, in fact, I can put in a good word and get us over there. That should make things a lot easier. That should expedite the matters a good bit, I think. Ah, Sakazuki. Looks like it'd be fastest if we swam. It's nice my connections are coming in use, that's for sure. Yeah. As you might notice, my rest XP bar is actually nearly empty. It actually was empty earlier today. I must say, it genuinely feels pretty nice. What job are they? Viper, eh? Alrighty. Sorry, sometimes I like to look at glam. Oh, that's just the default Picto gear. No, that's not a bad outfit, actually. When I make a Picto outfit, I might even use it like I did with my Red Mage outfit. Although I do need to still do the caster role quest so that I can make it paintable. Painting the Picto outfit, isn't that appropriate? The soldiers of the Ruby Price said that, did they? Pardon my language, that's a load of shite. We have no interest in Hingan waters. If anything, I've seen their skiffs encroaching our territory. If you ask me, they're thirsty for blood. Absolutely not. Not one of our Confederate brothers and sisters would approach that without authorization. Those cowardly dogs must have concocted it to get a rise out of us. Yeah, as expected. Oh, yeah, that... Okay, this person was also doing... As you could expect, I was wondering if maybe this person was doing the role quest before they went AFK, and it does look like that. I probably shouldn't be focused on all the glamour, though. I usually try to avoid it, but sometimes I just do it automatically. Sorry about that. There you are, Coda. Pray listen to this person has said. The situation may be more grave than we thought. I'm thankful you came, and not a moment too soon. Captain Marash showing Benak himself, you see. Normally where he goes, Tansui, but not today. He showed up by lonesome horse, gathers many heads possible to join him to tend some pressing business. No one obliged, Captain, but I had a feeling something won't right, so I asked him the matter of business. We're gonna set the ruby price ablaze. The bloody ruby price. Tried speaking some sense, and weren't a mind to listen, walked off saying, there's no need of craven bastards like me. Look, I don't know what's going on with the captain, but it can't be anything good. Please go to Albuquerque and stop and meet comments before it's too late. That Rasho is acting strange. It can't be a coincidence. We need to go to that island quick. Do you know the way? Precisely, actually. Good, not a moment to waste. Lucky for us, we have me to guide her this way so that I can expedite this process. Our buddy is likely still very new to the area and thus has to take time to actually find everything, which gives us time, valuable time. Alright, this is a Stormblade area, and I'm in one of the rarest. In one of the rare Stormblood mounts. Well, mostly rare in that it takes a bit of grinding to get, or be lucky with the Moogle Tome event. Yeah, I'm one of those people where their opinions of the expansions often changes. Like, when I beat Endwalker the first time, I genuinely considered it the best one, even better than Shadowbringers. I think even as early as the last time I streamed this game, I even mentioned that I think I was a bit too nice to it, but now I wonder, am I just doing that because that's generally how most of my friends feel about it, and thus I'm naturally gonna be more inclined to agree with them? There's nothing wrong if I happen to... Now, these are obviously my friends. They genuinely won't mind if I happen to say I just like Endwalker a lot more, but at the same time, Endwalker does have a number of things that I go back and forth on. Though I guess at the same time, Shadowbringers had its problems. I hear voices. Seems they've gathered up ahead. Huh. Let's see what happens then. Yeah, my opinion's gonna change with the tides here, so I guess we'll see. Those scum think they encroach on our territory and get away with it? I'll be down if we let them. Tonight we'll say siege and save ourselves. But are you sure if we do this, we won't be just starting a battle? Let's start a war. You're acting strange, Captain. What's getting into you? Silence. I didn't ask your bloody opinion. Those lion dogs claimed it was us breaching the agreement. I say we give them what they deserve. Once again, that smile. That smile's a dead giveaway. You're not welcome here. Be gone if you value your lives. You know you're a terrible actor. You're not Rasho, buddy. Because Rasho would know who I am. You saw through my disguise once again. Don't tell me you count even a pirate captain among your acquaintances. I'm afraid so, my friend. I know damn near everyone here. What is it you're trying to accomplish? Why incite such a conflict wherever you go? Why, sorry to disappoint you, but contrary to the passive Unbound's prattling about the free world and tyrannical government, I'm afraid I have no grand designs. I wish merely for everyone to show their true faces. Folk love to put on airs, sophistication, virtue, but push them towards the edge, and the masks slip off to reveal the monsters beneath. They'll go for the neighbor's jugglers to save their own skin. You've seen it yourselves. It's quite the spectacle. Oh, I see. So he's... I see. That's from the Dark Knights-esque Joker. I think... That poor Namazu. You know, I've still yet to beat Heaven on High. Or at least level floor 100. I have only done the 50 required for the main unlocks. Damn it, the winds are too strong. Basically, the little subplot, the side story from questline only requires you to go up to 50. 100 is purely for bragging rights or for the achievements. It's generally considered easier than Palace of the Dead, though, so I probably should consider it at some point. Man of 1,000 faces, a true menace indeed. We'll return to Onokaro. We'll forthwith alert the captain. Rest assured the Confederacy will be keeping a close watch over the Urisi. I didn't think for a moment he was an imposter. The lies he spouted about the Bakufu were enough to make my blood boil. To think what would have happened if he hadn't stopped us. Kami bless you. All he wants exposed is so-called true faces. They would use a cocoon for that purpose? Unthinkable. Let's return to Kugane for the time being. At this point, he's probably gonna start pretending to be me, but the problem is damn near everyone in this country knows who I am. They're not going to be fooled. Or at the very least, they're going to know something's off. Soak up the sun. From Kugani's back alleys to bathhouses, dark rumors spread like the blood on the neck of a decapitated criminal. The rumor, the decapitated head of Marushi, the fallen warrior executed for murders, come back to life to continue its killing ways. Slicing up innocent members with crab-like claws. Wait, crab-like claws? Oh, right. Plus, it should be known that I've been traveling across the sea lately, so seeing me here would certainly strike people as odd. Damn it all, I can't believe the bastard like that. Forgive me, I find myself more disgusted with the villain each time we see him. To think all this driven by small-minded spite. From what I could gauge, he didn't fly towards Kugane during his escape. I think he's seeks a new settlement. Now that the Confederacy and I are acquainted, I'll see if I can't help sniff out the roost. They can't help me sniff out the roost. No doubt, where there's smoke, he'll be stoking the fire. I suppose I'll use this period 10 to my bow. Next time, my arrow will fly true. She appears to have found a new lead. Wonderful, you're here. Ever since the incident of the Ruby Sea, I've kept a line of communication with the Confederacy, and they just reported something that'll be interesting to hear. Apparently, a man impersonating the distinguished Lord of Doma was recently exposed. One of the Lord's retainers saw through the pretender's facade when he was attempting to stir up trouble in the Doman Enclave. The impostor reportedly turned to a hawk and fled. Clearly, our new quarry now nests in Doma. I'd like to resume our hunt immediately, but I'm not sure where he may go after his failure. Do any locations come to mind? There's 2 locations he might be. A town called Namai. That's an interesting one. The extent of your knowledge is truly remarkable, Coda. Without further ado, let's make our way there and see what the residents have noticed any unusual activity. Yeah, like I said, the fact we're intimately familiar with this location... Oh, right, there's no aetheryte in that area, but there is one here. I tried to keep up with the regular quests as late as Heaven's Ward, but once Stormblood hit, I just found it very difficult to keep with all of them, especially because of how quickly you level. Not that I'm complaining, mind you. I mean, let's be real here. The leveling experience is by and large to extend the length of the content so that people, because let's be real, also be real here, people will who play these games will absolutely rush to the end game and complain there's no content. Like, they'll no-life it for a handful of days. Possibly, if even that, and then complain there's nothing to do anymore. For main story, I do get that. It's fine for it to be somewhat limited since, well, it's a live an MMO is pretty much a live service game before live service was even a thing. It constantly gets updated, so it's fine if the game gets quote-unquote solved because it'll be completed later. But at the same time, there's people who have gotten every single achievement in this game, and there's a ton. Oh yeah, I feel pretty smug about getting this one. PvP ones take absolutely ages, but now the PvP is actually fun. I look forward to them. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff here, like different fates, some job exclusive like Blue Mage here. There's a lot of things you can do if you really want. It's just a matter of what you want, what you're looking for. If you just care about the story, then by all means, I'd say just subscribe at each expansion and patch, and then only come back when interested. Oh, they were blocking the aetheryte. I thought that was the case, but I didn't think it was a big deal either, so whatever. But yeah, even when someone gets into the game, I usually tell them don't hyper-focus one thing. Like, if you just care about the story, jobs, or whatever, that usually runs out quickly. But if you have a larger scale, like crafting or achievement hunting, or even just PvP, that can actually last you quite a while. And of course, same with raiding, but you need a whole group for that. And as I've learned from the last time I raided, it can be tricky to gather people each time if you don't, like, schedule it. It can be tricky to make all the schedules line up, I mean. Has there been any quarrels? Well, yes, actually, the other day, 2 of us were at each other's throats over a persimmon. She was the only supposed to eat half, then gobbled the whole thing. In the end, she purchased one by way of apology, so let bygones be bygones. This isn't what the sort of quarrel you're talking about? Well, I'm glad they were at least able to settle it to, like, reasonable people. Trouble? Not that I can think of. For a blessing, all's been peaceful. That's good, that means he hasn't found the settlement yet. Oh, right, because while Doma is the big settlement here, he himself has no way of realizing there's a smaller one in this specific location. He'd have to scour the countryside. Meanwhile, I know precisely where it is, which means we might actually be ahead of him. Because the other area is a secret resistance area. There's no possible way he's finding that out without someone directly telling him about it. The people of this village have lived hand in hand with nature. In a way, it reminds me of home. That person's probably doing the Stormblood story. What job are they? Oh yeah, they're doing the Stormblood story. Machinist, not a bad choice. I know that one's pretty popular. Which makes sense, though. It's the main... If you want to focus on damage specifically, and you want to range physical, Machinist is your go-to. Plus, I hear they got some really nice new toys in the expansion. I haven't played it myself, though. Dancer is probably going to be my range DPS of choice, and that one gives up pretty much all of its personal damage in exchange for a huge amount of support. Dancer. Outfit looks okay. Alright, by Kami's grace, our quaint little village has not seen strife since the Imperials were ousted. There's been news, however, of a man impersonating Lord Hien at a conclave. As I'm told, when Lord Hien voiced his intention vague, all present grew wary of the individual. None more so than Lady Ugiri, who saw through it immediately. After he was exposed, he vowed the scene. Unfortunately, efforts to find him have not borne fruit. Alright, feels good that for once we might actually be ahead of him, since he has no way of knowing that this village is here, or at the very least, know who has an authority or power to actually stir up a problem. Because in a tiny little village like this, it might actually be a lot easier to see through his disguise, too. We'll have to see. Let me grab a sip of my drink real quick. Hold on. Ah, refreshing. I think after this one I'll probably do the caster one, and by then I should... And after that I should have the tank one, but I'm probably not going to do them right away. I got a few games to go through. This was basically the Dawntrail's main story was my main game for a bit, but I might do something smaller like Streets of Rogue, or honestly maybe even Super Animal Royale, just as a palate cleanser. Because these job role stories aren't going to be really long or anything like that, or at least I'm not expecting them to. It's kind of why I chose it for tonight too. It should only be a couple hours, really. Yeah. Unless it turns out to be even shorter than that, and it's like 1 hour, in which case I'll probably do the caster one here as well. We'll see. Also, I just wanted a more relaxing one to stream to tonight. None of the residents I spoke to reported anything ordinary. Doesn't look like it. I think we beat him here. That's going to be wonderful. And it seems the villain's not here. Where might he have gone? The only other here is the resistance base, and bluntly, I don't think... Oh, what are you doing here? A friend of yours? Don't get look, strangers. We met just moments ago, remember? You asked me how to reach the House of the Fierce. Grief, lad, you lost, aren't you? I can understand embarrassment. Listen carefully now. Follow descending. Ah, it's explained how to get there. Could you impersonate you this time? This doesn't bode well. We must hurry. Good news is I know precisely where the House of the Fierce is, so... And it's a resistance base, so they're gonna know something's wrong. Let's see here. During Stormblood, I played the story as ninja, but I ultimately ended up remaining red mage. Dang, I can't believe I called it when I went there first. Oh well. Oak. Liberation Front Sentry. We heading out? Whatever, it's only about 70 gil either way. It's pretty easy to teleport around here. He can try and look like me, but not quite me. Alright, the caldera. Alright, he's gonna try and go in the secret resistance base. Oh yeah, this is a good fishing spot if you play Fisher. Abandoning my post, I'll have you know more than capable of keeping watching fishing at the same time. Nice multitasking. Ah, that must be doing the same quest line, I guess. Just how far must we swim? I dare say my day spent in the lake about to come in handy. Alright, buddy. I'm at least 95% sure you're not... I'm at least 85% sure you're not me. Wait, I was gonna say no, but I thought, no, I have to... I love how it has my name in the question mark. My friends, come my attention, the Khans have been conspiring to invade Doma. Must look up for the chance. Invasion means all war. The cover of darkness must assassinate them, only death requires to be averted. Dang, the protagonist is sure is talking a lot. I grow weary. Perhaps I should have reserved my targets more carefully. With all due respect, these allegations must be brought before Lord Hien. It's imperative we construct his instruction before acting. I'll be playing right into Orinir's hands. After all, an impostor disguised as Lord Hien, but recently exposed. An Orinir spy, there can be no question. He's fled, his whereabouts unknown. There could be anyone, anywhere. Weaving new schemes we speak, the decisive action must be taken, and that's why I come to you. Impersonator's but a part of the grand scheme? But why would those who follow alongside domination and fire greed? Forgive me, but you do not seem yourself, Mr. Koda. Something doesn't seem right. Oh, because I'm desperate. A shadow looms over. Only with your help can I dark spell, please, and linear strength. Our honored friend recite from Limsi Doma free. You address him with suspicion. And he says we must act first. We must act. It's true he's never led us astray. Brothers and sisters, let's join Shadow Doma. Nah, I think the first guy had it right, honestly. Just because I punch a little harder than anyone else doesn't mean I can't make mistakes. What's the meaning of this? It's infernal near spire. Quickly, Quill before I could escape. Ape? Wow, you sound absolutely nothing like me. It's you! Ah, such persistent vermin. Oh, he can't... He has to fly up this time, which means he's gonna be in a bit more of a vulnerable spot. Or at least I hope so. The problem appears to be your aim, not the bow. Ah, pathetic. You're nothing like that other girl. What's her name? Oh, I see Toka. She was fearsome, that one, right up to the moment I drove my blade into her back. Wait, what? What? What's this? Don't tell me you've been masquerading around as a Toka herself. After all, that would make you no better than me. Hiding by the name of another won't erase the blame you bear for everything that has happened. Ah, so something happened to him. Okay, so something happened to him that's causing him to want to lash out in response. I'm sorry, I swear I'll explain everything later. For now, we should appraise the situation. To think he can transform into anyone, truly a fearsome ability. I shall alert Lord Hien to this threat. Rest assured all of Doma will be on alert. I was completely fooled, I have no words to express my shame. Upon speaking with you again, I realized the impostor assumed a guise. He had neither spirit nor grace. Forgive me, I'll not fall for such a thing again. It's fine, this guy specializes in tricks like that, so it's extremely difficult to see through. After all, remember, Yugiri's the greatest, probably the greatest ninja of the nation, and so her seeing through it is the exception, not the standard. Well, next the player character if you choose to main ninja anyway. Might I have a word? The man impersonating you earlier, I recognize his face. Without a doubt, he's Shamidere. Samidere, a childhood friend. So we know who he is? You know him? Then please, you must tell us everything. I've known him my entire life. We learned the shinobi arts together, you see. Roughly 25 years ago, we engaged in our first battle as proud ninja, defending Doma against the Empire's invasion. With every fiber of our body, we met their mighty Magitech with nimble ninjutsu. As if moved by our resolve, a mighty auspicious guardian of Doma, Tomogozen, appeared on the field of battle to aid our cause. Yet our efforts were for naught. The Empire's might fell upon Doma like a hammer, and we were crushed beneath overwhelming force. The occupation began soon thereafter, and so too did my work in the shadows. While I devoted myself to resisting the Empire in secret, Samidere was conscripted to their army and forced to become an imperial spy. I understood he served them well, fanning the flames of war in faraway lands through rumor and manipulation. Indeed, as far back as I can recall, he always excelled in the skill of subterfuge. But it was only after the prisoner exchange that he returned to Doma at long last. But he was a changed man. He could no longer find joy or peace, solace in the peace he once fought to secure for our nation. Instead, he sought to disrupt it. War has taught me the truth of this world. Civility is but a facade to hide the true savagery within, and I'll prove it here in my dear Doma. Fool I am. I thought he was just jesting. Only later when I discovered the web of lies he'd spun, turned folk against one another, did I realize he meant every word. I tried to confront him, but he fled Doma before I had the chance. Nonetheless, I searched his home and discovered a missive from some organization called Passage of the Unbound. I have it with me here. Dear illustrious Samidere, we extend our deepest gratitude for your interest in enjoying Passage of the Unbound. With each passing day, our secret order grows closer to its goals, and we require exceptional talent for what lies ahead. Bearing these needs in mind, we have decided to welcome you to the fold. To celebrate the start of our auspicious future, we invite you to meet your colleagues Tuliolol, enclosed with your ticket within. We did run into him there, yeah. Exceptional talent, exceptional egos, more like. This Passage of the Unbound keeps a watchful eye on nations far and wide to recruit cutthroats like Samidere, or who only follow their own desires. Upon his arrival in Tyrol, his ambitions guided him to my home, where he stole the Dreamweave cocoon and set out to use for his own twisted ends. I'm afraid that appears to be the way of it. In all likelihood, it's the Passage of the Unbound which alerted him to this cocoon's existence. Today, some are attempted to incite war between Doma and the Azim step by wearing the face of our dearest ally, you. Your timely appearance prevented the worst from happening, but so long as he can alter, who can say what tomorrow may bring? His years as a secret operative have made him a master at reading people. Should he decide to study his target before taking his form, I fear his schemes may not be discovered until it's too late. Please be careful. May the Kami bless and keep you. Is he gonna try and actually sound like me next time? Attempting to find Samidere would be a fruitless endeavor right now. He could be any bird in the sky or beast roaming the wild. Let's resume Kugane. I'll reveal everything there, I promise. Okay, so sadly I was wrong when I thought maybe we were ahead of him for once. Not only is he indeed familiar with Doma and its situation, but he straight up also knows the only reason he wasn't at the Nixian village was because yeah, the only reason he wasn't at the village was because he didn't want to start a war. Well, actually, I think it's because that village couldn't possibly start a war. They have no soldiers, really. It's just a farming town. That's all he cared about was Heart of the Fierce, since that's where the resistance was prior to winning back Doma and Stormblood. And thus, they actually have soldiers. I'm grateful for your help today. Once again, I let our prey slip away. The only silver lining is we know where he is now. We know who he is now. But more importantly, I apologize for deceiving you. As I said, I'm not the greatest hunter in my home. I'm not Itoka. I suppose that was hinted at from the fact her arrow kept missing, and she kept blaming on her bow, which... I'm Kuiki. I hail from the same village, and I too am a hunter, but only in name. You've seen my aim for myself. Yet most shameful of all is that it's my fault the Dreamweave cocoon was taken in the first place. It's alright, from the sound of it, this guy's a master ninja to begin with, and those guys are not something you are likely trained in how to deal with. Normally, it's enshrined in the deepest recesses of my home, only Ataka had leave to wield it. The forest provides shelter and sustenance to many, and not all we share its bounty with are friendly. When great beasts threaten our home, the cocoon's power may be used to protect our lives. Yet I used it for my own foolish desires. I couldn't take it anymore. I was a hunter. I could barely catch prey large enough to feed myself. I was forced to wash clothes, prepare meals, and tune bows. Just once I wanted to be acknowledged, so I used it to transform myself into Ataka. With her dexterity and finesse, I finally caught prey, being a true hunter. And as I carried my prize home, he appeared. I'd still I found him collapsed in the middle of a beaten path. I had never had reason to mistrust someone, so I approached to nurse the wounds, yet the moment I struck close, he knocked the cocoon and struck me unconscious. He was long gone by the time I awoke. I confessed my sin, and at the boundless grace she forgave me, but I could not forgive myself. I left home on the very eve to pursue the thief all the way to Kukane. After several days, who should I see but Itoka, our most exceptional. It came no surprise the elder had charged her with recovering the cocoon. She was astonished to see me, of course. I had told no one of my actions. I feared she'd send me home, but when I expressed my shame, my anger, she consoled me and told me we'd find it together, and as I was certain she would, until the day the duplicitous bastard killed her. You appeared very soon after her passing. I thought someone as strong as you by her side, maybe I could avenge her, so I lied. Like he said, I'm no better than he is. I'm an imposter, but my desire to reclaim the cocoon is every bit as strong as Ataka's was. Honestly, there was no need for this in the first place. I would have helped you out no matter what. I'm so sorry for lying to you. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me and continue to aid me. Might as well thank you for telling the truth here. Thank you. I know with you at my side, I know I can keep my promise to her. For now, I'll remain vigilant for any news regarding the conflict in the region. Please do pay me a visit when you find a moment to spare. I'm counting on you. Cornered prey. Even her name's changed. It's furrowed in uncharacteristic ease. Coda, I'm so relieved to see you. I thought you might resent me for lying, that you might refuse to lend me your help again. I'd certainly be hard-pressed to reclaim the cocoon alone. I truly meant what I before, though. I am counting on you. Though I'm ashamed to admit it, when I first arrived, I was nearly swindled out of an heirloom by a talking catfish. Oh, yeah, that's something that happens here. I'm sorry. I've been scouring the city for a shop to pawn my choker. In fact, I'm pretty much sure I know who that is exactly, since he's got a habit of doing that. I've been scouring the city for a shop to pawn my choker so I could secure room and board. When the catfish claiming I'd buy the necklace for a price offered me a handful of coins. While I was about to accept the offer on a token, in mere moments she discerned the catfish's currency was counterfeit and ended the transaction. She dragged me to the markets and pawned her own to secure lodgings. The moment she arrived, Toka took care of everything. What I'm trying to say is I can't do anything on my own. I'm reckless, impulsive, and I'm just glad to have you here. Been my some time, my friends. Pray forgive my sudden visit, but I've come bearing urgent. We spoke with you at the House of the Fierce, so it brings you all this way. I was able to make contact. I told him I was willing to make amends and join my oldest friend, exposing the lies of people's hearts. He responded most eagerly and bade me to meet him in secret. That sounds pretty dangerous. Really? Did he say where? Aye, hell's it. I have a mind to lay an ambush, but not knowing the extent of the power he wields, I thought it best to seek help. And so I come to beg for your aid. Your strength and valor are unequaled, and we cannot apprehend him without you. We may never get another chance to catch him unaware. There's no time to lose. Of course, this could also be him in disguise. Wait, forgive me for speaking, Huntress, but I fear it may only be a hindrance. And when the fighting begins, let's go to Hell's Lid by skiff and meet after the villain subdued. Oh, I take your point. You're right. Without us distract him, Coda can focus on the battle. I'm sorry, would you mind going alone? We'll be there as soon as we can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a disguise, actually. Especially since he could have potentially seen us talking with him to know that we made contact. This is quite bad. If I'm gonna get to Hell's Lid, it might actually be easier to teleport from Kugane. Shoo, kill it. FGO reference, and not a bad one either, although I'm not sure ninja fits. Though I guess the only one that might even get close is Paladin, since that's the only shield-wielding job. There's no job that wields a shield and nothing else, for better or for worse. Yeah, Hell's Lit is right there. It's easier to just teleport to Ruby Price and warp and fly there from here. Yeah, this is why flight is such a convenient thing to have. At least the good news is it's one of those things you only ever have to do once, and after that, you're done for the whole game for that particular area. Don't have to worry about it till the next expansion. Search for him at Hell's Lid. I've done this dungeon. I haven't done that dungeon for quite a while, actually. I think it was mostly just Stormblood when I did it. It doesn't happen, I guess, because it's from an optional storyline and most people just gun through the main story, especially because when you do the patch storyline stuff, you get a massive head start on the next levels. So unless you're leveling alt jobs specifically, you'll quickly start to out-level stuff. You see no sign. Perhaps his lair is further ahead. Yeah, I pretty much guarantee he was in disguise. He could have intuited, or he might... Yeah, she's also doing this mission. Probably also what she did. There's no sign, but feel an unsettling presence. You guys came to the wrong neighborhood. I think this guy's a samurai. Yes, he is. Might as well help this guy out, why not? He's nowhere to be found. There's naught to do but await your companion's arrival, it would seem. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the disguise. Hey, you alright? She's in disguise. I came as soon as oh, is the battle over already? Where is he? I was ambushed by a group of red Kojin, unfortunately. They're have nothing to do with this. They're just kind of assholes. Oh, was this trap the whole time? Wait, over there. I knew it. Just tackled him. I see. When taking damage, you can't sustain the form. Thank goodness I made it. After all the time I spent in that old Kojin shell, convincing his underlings to attack you, my blade was mere from the skin of your back. Alas. I wouldn't expect that to work, buddy. Remember, I've got a void scent on my side. Meticulous plan gone to waste. I underestimated your strength and the failed huntress's tenacity. I dare say I'm a match. No common beast can I mimic and stand against you. I must contemplate your death with more rigor. Come look forward to our next read. Looks like he knows he's got no choice but to target me specifically in order to stop it. Well, I'm not worried. Reapers share gear with the Dragoons, and that has higher physical defense at the cost of lower magic defense, so... Maybe if he was using magic, I'd be in a little more trouble, but with just a couple daggers, nah. Forgive me, I need to catch my breath. His little friend was the villain himself. As soon as the skiff made it to the open sea, he threw me overboard. I damn near had to swim like a fish to make it here in time. Oh, he's made me into a fool again. He waylaid me before using a similar ruse. By the time I figured out who he was, Atoko was already... I always wondered how craven he was to kill her, our greatest hunter, and now I know. When Atoka felt the blade on her back, I turned to face her. She saw me. So he's taking her to... I'm glad I was able to prevent history from repeating itself. I don't want to lose you too. And we should return to Kugane. Samadera may have planted more than one trap for us here. Like a samurai? Yeah, that's... Oh yeah, that's the person's samurai. Isn't that the artifact one? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's a pretty good outfit, I think. I feared the worst when I rushed to reach you. The moment and Samadera was inside, charged without thinking, which in retrospect was probably for the best. Had I tried to shoot him, I might have missed, or worse, hit you instead. In any case, I'm relieved you're safe. I promise to be more wary from now on, particularly of familiar faces. Hardly needs saying, but remember to keep your guard up as well. For now, I'll resume my efforts to gather information. You'll be the first to know once I have a lead. Fruit and aloe jelly, ooh. She seems to be on edge. Imposter syndrome. Oh, good to see you, Koda. Or should I say, Samadera. There's only one way to be sure. I need you to tell me something only you would know. When I use the cocoon to take it, what creature did I hunt? You never told me. When I cocoon, what creature did I hunt? You never told me that. And you, what a relief. Indeed, I never told you that my arrow struck. A wild boar, a prize for any hunter. Samadera is the only one who ever saw it. Sorry for doubting you, but I think no better way to expose him if he attempted to impersonate you again. Hey, we all have to pull... Hey, don't blame me for playing it safe. I probably would have done the same. Have to remain vigilant after all, even though no news' plots have reached me. From here to Yangtze's people are on alert, and many faced agitator within their midst. Not even a stray cat's beyond scrutiny. While he can no longer act brazenly, I'm afraid this means this trail's gone cold. We also have another problem. When he pushed me in the Ruby Sea, the remedy I carried was soaked. It's no longer going to be effective. But he doesn't know that, right? No, it has planned from the start, which is eliminate one means we had of undoing its mimicry, where it had a disadvantage too great to ignore, which is why I synthesized a new chip batch. I was about to procure the necessary ingredients. Why don't you join me? Alright, see you later, Emma. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, the role quests are usually about a couple hours long, if I remember the ones from Endwalker, so... should be fine. Do 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 do. I've never heard of such materials. Where are they found? In the deep forest of Tyrol, land beyond the sea and far to the west of here. Tulioli, I'm afraid my supply chain does not extend that far. I feared as much. It doesn't help the materials can only be harvested when the season's right. Even if I were to return home now, I don't think I can find what we need. We'll have to give up on the remedy. I'm sorry. We're at the mercy of his cunning, it would seem. We did find out he also... Hello, tell me, have you any solves that might ease my aching back? Sir, this is an apothecary. Where are your spectacles? Oh, yes, how could I forget? How much better? Sometimes I forget as blind as a bat without these. Forgive me, Shirokashi. Ah, glasses. X-ray specs. Something that can allow seeing through. Excuse me. Do those bits of glass covering your eyes help you see better? Well, yes. Are you unfamiliar with spectacles? I've seen folks wearing them, but I thought they were decorative like my choker. Tell me, where can I procure a pair? Yamakabe's your man. He has a breadth of artisan contacts who will ensure you receive a pair fine-tuned to your specifications. You'll find a shop on this very street. I'll look for him, thank you. Yeah, something to see through the disguise, because it depends largely how the relic uses the disguise. If it's a magical shapeshift, then something that shows a magical aura might be enough. If it's purely an illusion, something that can see through shouldn't be impossible. I'm sorry, I must be completely bewildered. I thought a failure hunter like me would never be able to aid you, but I've come to realize there is hope yet. But let's not crowd the stall. Oh, so that's why she can't see. That's why she can't aim, because she can't actually see. Oh yeah, she's... No wonder... Yeah, if you can't see properly, then of course... If she's nearsighted or something, then that would explain everything, why she's so terrible at it. Ever since I was a child, I have trouble seeing things afar. So she is nearsighted. That's why my aim with the bow is so poor. I'm not fit to be a hunter, never was. It's only natural that chores like washing sheets and preparing meals fell to me. I've always yearned to do more, though, to be more. I've looked at Toka ever since I can remember. No matter how hard I tried, I simply couldn't give up my dream. I had to be just like her, so I begged her to teach me everything she knew. From the basic of drawing a bow to precise aiming techniques that Hunter used. Despite my efforts, my sight failed me where it counted most. I thought all my life this would simply be the nature was intended me for to be. I was content to accept my lot, but now that I know spectacles can improve, I feel hope. If I could just try them, maybe my arrows will fire true. I could even join you in battle, strike him down with my own arrow. We may have lost the remedy, but this will give us an element of surprise. That's right, he still will be under the impression that she can't aim. So I wasn't wrong that he would be an easy shot. In fact, I'm sure Otoko probably would have made it, but with a far-sighted archer, there's no way he'd have to worry about it. He probably just thought she was incompetent rather than nearsighted, and that's going to be an edge we need to leverage, because that's the kind of surprise that will only ever work once. Alright, let's meet this Yamabiki. I wonder what procuring a pair of the spectacles entails. I'm sure I can scrounge up some money if needed. A pair of spectacles, is it? I can certainly get you an order in the pipeline, but there'll be a wait. I'm fresh out of supplies. The next shipment isn't due for a few weeks. Of course, if you're in a rush, I could roll up your sleeves and get the materials yourselves. All I need is a glossy shell of a hawksbill and a cluster of quartz. Bring them here, and my affiliates can work immediately. Who knows what schemes I might contrive if we let down our chase for weeks. Would you be willing to let me a hand procuring the materials? We should be able to gather them in the blink of an eye. Sounds good to me. Quite the eager, eh? In that case, I say you'll be able to negotiate with the Blue Kojin for a carapace of splendid quality. Ah, I visited Tamazu during my investigations. I'll handle the shell. I'll have to kill something, I imagine. I'll use the Argent Quartz. Pray look for a cavern near Shoal Rock and Ruby Sea. Sprinkle some glittering gravel to lure creature from within, and then receive a cluster from its shell. Let's meet back here when we're finished. In that case, it might be easier to teleport to the Onkoro. Let's see here. Onkoro, there we are. I still need to unlock that last deep dungeon. Who knows, maybe I'll even start trying to do a solo runs of it. I know it's pretty popular, or some people even like that kind of content, but I don't know, I guess I've already had a couple people say they don't care for that kind of thing. I guess at the end of the day, though, the point is that I'm supposed to do what I care for. Wait, where is it here? Oh, it's in here. Right. Shoal Rock Caves. Yeah. Easy enough. Glittering gravel. Shoal Iwamushi reportedly attached to anything that glitters, including this gravel. Destination. I don't think I've been in here before, or if I have, it was probably for a story quest or something. Or maybe one of the, what's it called? You know, I can just let it shatter on me because I'm too strong for this to matter. Reaper Tank lives. That's pretty easy. Ah, the first return. I trust you have the quartz in hand. Aurelent quartz. A cluster possesses a light golden hue. Luckily, nearsightedness is pretty common, and so I imagine it's pretty common in this world too, so it should be pretty easy to make a set for. Excellent, let's make it for a fine pair of lenses. Now we just wait for your friend here. I'm back. Sorry, I didn't mean to alarm you like that. I spoke with the Kogen's plan, but certainly when the Hawksbill shells have been sparse. They were reluctant to part with one. I was able to wear them down, though, until they proposed exchange. If I dealt with the Red Kogen invaded the shell, I knew my bow would be useless, so I took a leaf out of Koda's book and brought him book was personal. As you can see, it took quite a beating, but so did they. Maybe a little worse for wear, but the trouble was worth it. If I have the shell as promised, with it, your social get started. Indeed, they can. Let's first measure eyesight, see what they get to work. Alright, well, she can see the optometrist first, so they know exactly what prescription to give, and then go. This should do a lot, yeah. Something. Yeah. This is incredible. Everything's so vivid. Well, for the record, if you're always pushing your glasses back up, you probably wanted to adjust them to make sure they fit in your body properly. Why, I'm sure I can hit a bird on the horizon. Come, Code, I want to fire some test shots at the sign over there. Hold on, that sounds like a fine way to earn the ire of Sekisugumi. I'll prepare some targets, so let's move to somewhere less crowded. Of course, thank you for going through trouble. I guess this is a good way to show that sometimes even something very simple can't be overlooked. Adorable. Let's see. And I do kind of like that she ended up getting pulled into a quest that I'd have been pulled into. Huh, not bad. I have Bard at 90, so I guess that's a pretty good... Just hit the target. Just because it's not dead on doesn't change that it's still the right target and in a pretty good spot, so... Alright, this is gonna be the true test. She hit it. I really did it. After all these years, my aim is true. When we find him, he won't know what hit him. Indeed, as far as he's aware, she's just an incompetent hunter. He doesn't realize that she had a limitation that is now no longer an issue. Granted, if he sees her wearing glasses, he might be able to figure it out, but that would require him to, think pretty hard. I don't know if I can properly describe this feeling to you. After so long, I don't feel like someone pretending to be a hunter. Finally, I don't feel like a burden. As soon as I even catch a whiff of his trail, we'll stop him for good. When that moment arrives, please let me strength one last time. Together, we can retrieve the cocoon and return to my village. A hunter true. She's eager to discuss the new developments with you. I probably should have done these when I was level 99 to expedite the process, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's nice to do the whole story in one go so I don't forget anything. Your timing could not have been more impeccable, Coda. A person claiming to be an acquaintance of yours stopped by, wishing to have a word about Samadare, no less. They're presently waiting in my room, so give me a moment, I'll bring them here. Is it going to be... Is it Hildebrand? Oh, that'd be amazing, but I highly doubt that. Technically speaking, you can do this without ever meeting Hildy. You look well, Coda. Forgive me for eschewing pleasantries, but there's an urgent matter I wish to discuss. Let me guess, he's screwing in the Isdem step, isn't he? When we first met in Reunion, what did you purchase at the market? What did we eat the night of our trial? Well, Barnum's Medal. What did we eat the night before the trial of Barnum's Medal? Oh, I believe we feasted on Gula Gula meat. You and Hien competed to see who could bring back the Greater Hall. It would seem you two have grown wary of imposters, and we can proceed straight to the heart of the matter. You appeared a mole, claiming he had to have driven to madness, that he was amassing an army to bring forth the Zem step. Oh yeah, he's definitely trying to draw me out now. For a blessing, we'd already received word from a Doman envoy and agitators mimicking others, so we saw the ruse for what it was. Unfortunately, when we attempted to capture him, the impostor transformed into a sheep and disappeared among the great bands grazing on the plains. When I informed our friends in Doma, I was told you've been using Kagane as a base to track down the perpetrator. I thought best I appraise you. What's happening? Samadare, he won't relent. His schemes won't end until we make them end. You may discover a clue about his whereabouts in Reunion. If anyone's step has heard of him, that's where he'll be. Now I must alert the other tribes of the threat. May the winds blow your way. Excellent. Off to the Zim step. With any luck, someone in Reunion will have insight to offer. Yeah, that guy's just lucky I rose a caster and not my ranged physical. Because if it was a caster, he could reasonably escape in the amount of time it takes for me to cast a spell. But if he's just flying away... But if I had raised Bard or Dancer, I probably could have... Well, no, Dancer's not huge, not a sniper. Someone stirring up trouble? Quarrel among tribes is common as the rising sun. Not a day goes on without it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have goods to sell. Kindly continue your inquiries elsewhere. Okay. Dick. Granted, we should probably start being more specific and sort of weird people I can... Conflicts forbidden, this is a known rule. As for my tribe, all is at peace. I had a rumor, however. Magnai of Odir has been behaving strangely, perhaps related to the matter in which you're investigating. Conflict? Now, besides normal quarrels and tribes, certainly not disputes on the scale you speak of, but I have heard rumors Magni's been sneaking out on throne. What could he be going in to do what, I wonder? Then yeah, he hasn't been sneaking out. He's trying to disguise as himself. Were we able to learn anything of interest? I've also heard rumors pertaining to this Magnai. The one person even stated they saw him headed towards a place called Barnum's Medal not long ago. Mayhap this is the form Samadare has chosen to take on. Whatever the case may be, we'll find the answer. We can't allow his depravities to go any longer. Steel yourself when we next face him, we'll be putting an end to this. Oh yeah, I also know... Huh. Whoopsie. He's also been more scrupulous... Good, you're ready. Once the battle begins, there's no telling which form he might take. An eminent warrior, fearsome beast, or worst. He's also shown more scrupulous behavior in his preparations of late. Whatever his form, we would do best to assume he has thoroughly studied his strengths and will use them to full effect. Yet I'm not the feeble hunter I once was. Together, with your martial might and my extracting eye, we will defeat him. At long last, Toka shall have her vengeance, and my village shall see the cocoon returned. Huh. You know, this reminded me. There actually weren't that many these many battles here. A shame. I mean, like I said, they do kind of spoil some problems, like how in Stormblood it says everything is gonna go well. Are you ready to begin duty? Everything went to shit, but I don't think that was a bad thing, honestly. Especially with ones like Coming from the Cold was a really good one back in Endwalker. Alright, time to grab a sip of my drink. Hold on. Alrighty, here we are. Time to show him the power of death. My beautiful bright sun, I'm asking her. Okay, yeah, she's the fake. And he's real. Has the feral dog on Robbie? You speak these honeyed words to lure me into your cottons that my throat is asleep. Hush, fool, I'm here now. Together, we had our disagreements in the past. I come to understand my actions were born of love. Yet only now that I'm forced to wed do I realize this. Despite my shame, wish to confess my feelings, for it's too late. What? Wed? A Dotharly beast like you? To whom and to what? Pain of Doma, by coming kin, he seeks to leverage the influence of Dwal to claim dominion over the steppe. That Doma knows of no shame. Very well, I'll consider a proposal, far-fetched it may be. I cannot look over the possibility that you are my Nama, but first we will gather our warriors, Doomans and Prunes can go unpunished. We shall march for tomorrow's dawn. That's not Sudo. Wait, what are you doing here? It's not obvious. They're spies of Doma. Come to quash any resistance. You must kill them quickly. Oh, but he's Kangan. You two are quite a persistent pair. I'd hoped to strike at your backs from the shadows, but now you force my hand. I'll select from my repertoire the greatest warriors I've witnessed and use their strength to give you the death you so crave. Oh, don't worry, as the Reaper, I'll be sure to give you yours, the unbound, silver-tongued Samader. Beginning with her. Are you... Hey, buddy, don't forget who's the tip of this. Beginning with her. Ah, that's what I meant by her. How dare you? When my arrow pierces her breast, Atoka will finally know peace. Oh, I love this song. It always... You claim to know death. You only adopted. Oh, bone molded in it. Okay, I screwed up. Taking back what you stole. Okay, I don't have to worry about positionals. Take it from you will from the hands of Atoka herself. I like Perfectio because it's one of the very few ranged attacks that does not have casting time for Reaper. This artifact or mastery is mine to wield. Right, how did I forget to use my... How did I forget that? Seriously? Even her command over beasts. Come now, swarm my foes. Oh no, she was a Disney princess the entire time. Crap. Well, death comes to all. Yeah, sorry, buddy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it this way. AoE. There's so many, but I can bury them with a volley of arrows. Oh, don't worry, I've got a lot of AoE myself. You're not the only one with tricks up your sleeve. Nice. Stubborn fools, very well. I'll borrow the might to that brutish Ornir. Nice try, buddy. Oh, right, I forgot to re-up the debuff. Why do I keep forgetting? I'm usually really good at that. Keeping that up. Whatever. If you're gonna be Magni, you're gonna have to remember you will scuttle about no more, that one ruler. Now to the coup de grace with the Dovalthal Devil. Ha! Not of you will remain. Destroy the shackle. You're a lifesaver. Crap! I lost Perfectio. Unfortunate, but there's not much I can do about it now. So be it, I'll assume her form. Ooh, the mysterious her. Dreamweave cocoon. Turn before the mighty Allspice, topmost Golzen. That's the mightiest thing you can think of, eh? I guess that makes sense why someone from Doa would see them as seemingly undefeatable. There we are. That could have gone worse. I'm not finished yet. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, my. Ha! Sorry, buddy. Can't let this that debuff drop. Might as well keep an eye on QP in case he puts a stack marker on her and I miss it or something. A curse to spell your doom. Might as well use feint to be safe. Ugh. Okay, I'm glad I did that. That hurt. I shall drink deep of the ambient ether and render you to ash. If you were smart, you'd have used my power, buddy. Just baleful energy. We're in trouble if we don't do something. DPS check is my forte. Seconds, eh? 4 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Got it. Huh. You survived that? Yeah, it turns out having a DPS check against the DPS is a bit of a weakness. He's winded, now is our chance. Not as long as I have this power, my victory is assured. If you truly wanted to win, you should have copied me from the start. But you didn't. But even then, no one knows your weakness more than in order to know yourselves. Know your own weakness before you can exploit that of others. There we go. You can copy me, but you can't copy my alien weaponry. No, no! She can see now, which means... Is it gonna land on the Namazu this time? This is all up to you. I don't have a level 100 range physical DPS, and casters take time. Perfect. He fell into Bartum's metal. I was gonna ask if he's dead, but I guess that's to show it he's not. I suppose that's for the best. We are going to need him alive if we want to get information on their fearless leader. Itoka, it's finally done. Alright. What am I doing here? Feels as though I've just woken from the strangest dream. Well, you see... This cowardly cur assaulted you from behind and knocked you unconscious. You've shown the sun disgrace this day. You will feel his scorn impressed upon your flesh. You shall forget the warmth of his radiance. In the shadows will you scream and none will hear. Prepare yourself. Death would have been too good a fate for him. He deserved to spend the rest of his days feeling the weight of his crimes. Now that we've honored Toka's memory and reclaimed the cocoon... No words can express my gratitude, Dakota. I can finally return home, but my community awaits our foremost hunter's triumphant return. What expression will come over their faces when the village disgrace arrives instead? I don't know if I can bear to see. Unfortunately, they're gonna need the news sooner or later. It's unfortunate that she'll never come home again, but what matters is the one responsible. Our journey to reclaim the Dawntrail. Oh, they added trust to Stormblood now. Oh, that's wonderful. That means now every single piece of dungeon is a trust content. Nice. And our journey to reclaim has come to an end at long last. Would that I could return home in spirits. As you recall, you said Sheshepi is the one to request your help. Let's make our journey back to Tuliol and report to her what happened. Probably should have gone to the in-the-room area to be closer, but it's whatever, I guess. Point is, I'm jumping on rooftops here. Parkour, if you will. Sheppy, I have some good news and some bad news. Which would you like to hear first? You're back. Were you able to retrieve the Dreamweave cocoon? And Itoka isn't with you. Hey, over here. Kyuki, oh thank goodness you're alive. May her soul rest in the cocoon's embrace. I can't believe Itoka's gone. Yes, our village's greatest hunter is lost to us, while its greatest failure survives. Here, take the cocoon where it belongs. Home. I have no right to return. Don't be ridiculous. You're a child of the forest. You're our dear sister. You can always come home. The entire village has been worried sick. We all saw how crestfallen you were, so when you suddenly disappeared, we feared you took your own life. For 3 days and 3 nights, we scoured the land. Yet look at you now. Not only are you hale and whole, but you've reclaimed the cocoon. I'm sure Toka's spirit, hunting the forest above, is smiling on you with pride. As she'd much rather you take up her man... And she would much rather you take up her mantle and protect the village than wallow in guilt over her death. Nothing escapes your gaze now, after all. Isn't that right? Yeah, it's fitting that it's raining now. Thank you, Shashepia. It's settled. You will return home with me, and finally our village can breathe a sigh of relief. And it would be remiss of me not to thank you properly, Koda, for assisting Kuki in reclaiming the cocoon. You have our heartfelt gratitude. I was a little more of a liar and a hypocrite when we first met, but during our time together, I've discovered I'm so much more than that. With the right tools, even I could become a hunter worthy of following in Toka's footsteps. I'm truly grateful for you for helping me see that. Well, farewell for now, Koda. I hope that one day our paths may cross again. Sounds good to me. The Death Arcana is not just about... is not about actual death, but cycles, including new life. I do not necessarily have to bring death to accomplish my goals, but sometimes it'll help. Excellent. That was only an hour and a half. Dreams woven anew. Does that come with a title or something? A hunter true. Builds are made to be broken. Red on arrival, stars are false. Dark day's night. Oh, I forgot to do that one. Yeah, I keep forgetting this. While technically speaking, all jobs stopped having their own unique quests. They're all unique quest lines in Stormblood after Stormblood. So at Shadowbringers still had a quest where you speak with the job trainer to let them know what you've been doing lately, and that does a lot of stuff. This one's level 30. Amaro Whisperer. Blessed Relief. No, since it was only an hour and a half, I think that's a little short for a night. Well, maybe I meant it for short, but then again, to be a 9, but then again, alright. You know what? Let's do it. Picto time! Alrighty, let me just check the timestamp right here. Alrighty. So we're gonna do the Pictos tonight. So let me go ahead and also change the, there we are. When I upload the VOD, I'll just call it the Melee and Caster Roll job quest. So, Tsuhei, Power Forgotten. Tsuhei seeks an adventure with a penchant for the magical. Oh, hello. Did Brokavu send to help you recover our stolen treasure? Thank the heavens. And judging by your accomplishments, you've learned the arcane arts, yes? If so, we're gonna need your power and wisdom. Yep, it's not the standard magic job, but it's certainly a fun one. Truth be told, it's wisdom we require most. You see, even though our treasure was guarded by people for generations, we know little of its true nature. Sounds like this is something a black mage would be better for than a Picto, or a red mage for that matter. In ages past, the forests of our homeland were plagued with terrible beasts, a constant source of fear and danger. To combat this menace, our mages spent many moons researching treasure known as the Perch of the Apex. Upon unlocking its secrets, they were able to drive monsters from the woods, bringing peace at last. With the threat all but eradicated, our forebears forbade any further use of the treasure and enshrined it within our village. As the years passed, we slowly forgot what it was to live in fear, yet as our struggles faded in memory, stories surrounding the Perch of the Apex became legend, then myth. Now none living are certain of its true power. Yet the peace was shattered when a member of the Passage of Unbound, the villain, wheeled his way into our trust and stole upon my husband, the treasure's appointed guardian, catching him unaware with a terrible blow that left him conscious. Well, at least he's still alive. That's better than some of the last job quest. He's yet to awaken, so my daughter Tepik has set forth to retrieve what was stolen. Unlike her father, she has no skill in arcane arts and chose the path of the sword. That's why I've been seeking some of the knowledge she lacks, should the ancient power be unleashed. Please, if you could find it in your heart to help her, I'd be forever grateful. Consider it done. Oh, thank you, thank you. Now, our only clue to the thief's whereabouts is something he mentioned during the stay at our village. He spoke of the desire to bring change to a place called Razat. That's where Tepeke decided to begin her search, so she boarded a ferry bound there by way of Limsa Laminsa with her trusted sword and shield close at hand. That's how you'll know her. She agreed to stay in Razat to gather information until aid arrived. I know nothing of the place, but it's likely she can be found in the marketplace or some such. Please, bring treasure and my daughter safely home. Trolley swordswoman. Excuse me. Pictomancer at your service. Oh, are you looking for me? Whatsoever for? Coda, how do you say my mother sent you? I take it she already explained the details, such as how we know next to nothing about this treasure and its capabilities. We've only had legends passed down through our forebears to go on. They speak of Torolvadrol of an owl that once terrorized the forest, whose soul is sealed within the Perch of the Apex. The tales have only become more vague as the mist of time obscured the treasure's origin. Even our village's elders remembers not but an ominous warning uttered by those who once wielded its magics. And what would that warning be? The master of the Apex shall be showered with good fortune, yet leave only sorrow in their wake. Ah, so it sounds like a monkey's paw situation. It's clear that despite owning their safety to the Apex's power, our forebears viewed it as something to be feared. It must be truly immense. Now on to the matter of the thief, or either that or it caused a scorched earth situation, which is also very, very bad, and only to be used in extreme situations. Even during our brief acquaintance, he made plain his desire to bring change to Razat. Naturally, I started my search here, and I've been seeking to anyone who has expressed dissatisfaction with the status quo. Sure enough, I've heard stories of a recent arrival, self-styled savior who proclaims to lead the city to greatness, and calls himself the Justidiar. He's apparently taken on the burden of personally exterminating the beasts which infest the wilds, Thavnair's wilds. He made a great show of claiming he alone is equal to the task. While he certainly draws a crowd with his boasting, they only watch with morbid curiosity as he sets off the jungles alone. I realize this could have nothing to do with our problem, but even the smallest lead must be pursued. I've heard he often gives speeches at the region's smaller settlements, so shall we go see this Justicar for ourselves? It's decided. I hear Lamont would be a good place to start. Hopefully we can find the next crumb of a clue there. I guess while I'm here, I could discuss some DPS drama. That's always fun, right? Well, not so much. Right now, basically, the big complaint is that Pictomancer is overpowered. And just looking at their ridiculously high numbers, honestly, I don't think that's, but honestly, is where most people are getting it. Like, the Black Mage one is like an 800 or something like that, while the Picto's Star Prism is 1400. But I say that's actually, an individual skill alone isn't the issue. The big issue is that, Picto's pretty overtuned in general, since they have Black Mage damage while also having a decent amount of party support with the help of Starry Sky. My guess is they'll nerf Picto a bit, or buff Black Mage. I think they just overtuned Picto because, well, you have to paint, as I've noticed when I was leveling it, you absolutely want to paint your pictures mid-combat. You don't just want to use your 1-2-3 combo waiting for an opening, because the actual Picto spells, like even just Palm Moose here, the lowest level 1 is still 100, 1100, 1100 potency. That's insane. And likely it's high to compensate the fact that you have to do a 3-second channel time for a spell that doesn't do any damage, just to prep the one that actually does do damage. But they might have overtuned it. Well, the early parts of a expansion always has weird stuff like that. My guess is they'll either... ooh, another Makai Master. Oh, right, I have Keeper of Knowledge now. Yeah, this is a PvP title, which very few people have, so I figure I should probably have it as a flex title. But like Makai Master, it's mostly about dedication than actual difficulty. You just have to play a lot of PvP and capture tomestones. Basically, you have to capture points in the Seal Rock mission. Looking for the Justicar 2, one of the soldiers went after him. Yeah, basically, there's a handful of PvP modes here, one of which has points spawn throughout a map occasionally, and that you capture and hold for a certain period of time while they grant your team points. And that's the one you have to play. More specifically, Keeper of Knowledge requires you to be the one doing the capturing, and since damn near everyone wants to do that, it can be a little tricky. But it happened. But I did eventually. So, it's a commitment, that's for sure. Coda, we're unlucky. This boy saw the very man we seek. He seems to have given the same grand speech about saving people, claimed danger to look by, combat alone. Yet the Radiant host could not stand idle if there were truly beasts afoot, so one followed him. All we need to do is pick up the trail. He ran towards the shroud, where you might be able to spot him if you go from Kajai's footsteps. You can see the whole forest from there. Thank you, it's been very helpful. So Coda, let's head there and see what we can see. I don't even know what kind of accent I'm trying to give her. In fact, I feel like it's changed just between these two quests. The great work would probably be easier. Alright, here we are. Now then, let's begin our search. Since I've never actually seen the Justicar, we should find the Radiant Host soldier first. They wear similar armor, after all. I am in agreement. Now, let's begin our search. Since we've never seen him, I suggest we look for the Radiant Host. Search your surroundings. I believe this mechanic first came about in Stormblood. That's a plant. That's a monkey. The monkey! Fallen Fungar. Whatever is not moving could be one of the fiends he's after. The Radiant Host has been... That must be what happened. We better get down there quickly. Yikes. I was expecting those two to be standing around together. I guess he must... Whatever his plan is, he can't... The Radiant Host can't see it, or they might stop him. That alone is good to know, and that rock makes it clear how they did it. Damn, I wish I had raised a healer, then I could just revive them and ask what happened. Not to raise Coda, he's unconscious, but appears otherwise unharmed. I mean, the mushroom monster was killed, what did it do? Did he just pick up and throw rocks at the two of them? That seems odd. Either that, or the attack didn't discriminate and it happened to hit both. What happened? Heard you came in pursuit of the Justicar. Do you happen to remember anything? Yes, I eventually found him. He was confronting the fiend, which now lies dead there. Our enemy is an archer, it would appear. At last, the Justicar races Razahan. I shall bring an unending peace to this beleaguered land. I mean, it's already at peace, buddy. You're brave to follow in my path. Few indeed possess the mettle to even consider the terrors which threaten home and stand against them. Yet courageous though you may be, you're far too weak for it to fell a beast this mighty. Quit this life while you are yet able. Oh, that's just a mushroom monster. I am of the Radiant Host. If I ran from such meager prey, I'd be a laughingstock. How bold looked at the other flinching. I do not doubt your conviction to defend Razahan, yet I believe it pales for mine. Ah, so the relics are all... Apex, bestow upon me your divine might. Do not heed my call. I require power in my hair more than ever. I'm sorry, is something supposed to happen? Why am I yet unworthy? Or maybe there's a button I have to press? I guess it must not be as intuitive as the other one. The other guy seemed to master it almost instantly. This is not what I expected. Step aside, I'll dispose of the pest. Just give me a moment, it cannot end like this. I won't be made a fool. Come on, you moldy trinket, work. Transform me into the hero of Razahan. Okay, now something's happening. I see, it made boulders fall on the monster, but also on him. So, for every action it takes, it also does a misfortune. He brandished that idol and was wreathed in a mysterious light. Then boulders began falling from the sky. Down they came, one after another. That must have been when I was struck unconscious. Well, I'm glad he wasn't... I'm glad it wasn't as silly as he just grabbed it and then started beaming people with rocks. Although, I'm not sure how serious we're supposed to be taking this guy. I'm gonna be like, honest. I recall only faintly, but I recall the man heard the mumbling quite excitedly, as if he'd come upon a certain revelation, or as if he was overtaken by madness. It seems he got away unscathed. Either he had an incredible stroke of luck, or whatever he was beseeching to actually answered. Then, as I suspected, this Justicar is the self-same thief who stole the perch of the Apex. But he's no doubt long departed here. First, I'll escort this fellow back to Yermalald and keep a close eye. Head wounds can have terrible after effects. The soldier made his way to Razahan to make a formal report, and from what an odd report it will be. His account seemed aligned with the legend of the treasured powers. The wielder escaped unharmed, but brought ruin to those around him. Could those fallen rocks have been a freak accident, though? I'm not so sure. You won't believe it, he came back. Who came back? The Justiciar? Yeah, not long after you left. He said he beat a monster that knocked out the Radiant, and he was laughing his head off. Did he really do that? Did he really stronger the Radiance? I don't think so, but... Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We have no way of knowing. Well, I can't stop talking about it. He wants to be just like the Justiciar. His mom and dad weren't happy about that, though. Well, running into stuff head first with artifacts of completely unknown power is probably not a smart idea. I advise you and your friend take a look at a different role model. We can thank you for telling us what happened. I guess we could also lie to the kid and telling him that the Justiciar is using something he knows how to use it when he clearly doesn't, but I guess we can just worry about later. Well, there's one less fiend skulking about, I suppose. It may have been simply testing the treasure's capabilities, and as far as we know, he's yet to use its power to any evil ends. I find his motivations a mystery. To steal or purchase the Apex by force, only to come here and use it for good? It makes no sense. You've heard the tale of the passage of the Unbound, yes? Many adventure and Tuliolo claiming to be their victims. Yet, here they would be saviors. If he had such noble goals, why would he stoop to such devious deception? What could he be plotting? Yeah, I highly doubt he stole it just to be productive, but who knows? Oh, thanks, Sumifu. Welcome, crap. Is it case sensitive? It's case sensitive, isn't it? Hold on. Or I misspelled it. That's also a possibility. I'm so sorry. Oh, yes, I did. There we go. It doesn't say we were just playing, but, or if you were doing art or something. Hopefully you had a good time, though. Welcome, welcome. I'm just in the middle of doing the role quest in Final Fantasy XIV. Rather than have an individual quest line for each job, there's so many jobs they decided to separate it instead to roles, and I'm doing the one for the magic DPS right now. I am playing Pictomancer, a mage that literally paints things to life. It's neither here nor there. You stole from my people, and that misdeed cannot be forgotten. The purchase of the Apex helped win us peace. By its might, our forebears built the foundation of the lives we now lead. Until recently, it stood silent, a symbol of our pride as a people. It reminded us that we carved a home out of the inhospitable wilderness. Being trusted with its protection is a great honor. I was so proud of my father when the elders chose him, and proud of his daughter. Yet, since the day it was stolen, some of the villagers have made their disdain towards him too clear. I can't bear it. That's why I must get it back, to restore my village's pride and my father's reputation. Okay, I can get that. There's still so much we don't know about the Justiciar, but we still have to assume he's learned to wield the Apex power. I can't say whether those falling rocks have anything to do with it, but I won't discount it outright. I'll continue looking into his whereabouts. While we still have so many questions, with both of us working together, we'll find answers soon enough. Yeah, so basically some guy stole a very mysterious and powerful artifact, but strangely, he seems to be using it to be productive right now. We're trying to figure out what that's all about. A brand of justice. Ah, Coda, I'm afraid there's been some developments that are less than encouraging. News of the Justiciar's actions have spread throughout the city, and with each retelling, his deeds become more valorous. The younger citizens in particular seem to view him as something as an idol. Despite the creatures he hunts posing no real danger, he would paint them as mighty beasts in need of felling. Of course, the Radiant host are far too busy to trouble themselves, culling every pest that casts sideways glance at the city's gates. Yet, the Justiciar has twisted circumstances to his advantage. He proclaims anyone who listens to the radio host shrink in terror with these beasts, and that he's the only one that can eradicate them. Though you might expect such claims to be dismissed as while rambling, it seems no few people have fallen for the ploy. The whisperers of his exploits among the youth have practically grown to a clamor. Yet we mustn't be discouraged, for his increasing fame only makes it easier for us to sniff him out. And what better way to start than Razat-Han? I'll see you there. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, he keeps saying he wants to bring peace to Razat-Han and all that, but, Razat-Han has been at peace. We made sure of that at the end of the last expansion. That means whoever this is, they have some beef that needs to be dealt with. Given how large the city is, let's split up to cover more ground. I already have a destination in mind, the Heart Crucible. I hear the alchemists there can concoct all matters of tinctures and powders, including those which help detect traces of lingering energies by magic and enchanted tools. Fallen rocks have invariably marked locations where he's performed one of his feats, and I believe an alchemical mixture can determine if his presence was the work of the treasure. I'm hardly an expert on such of these concoctions, though, so I'll seek the advice of the High Crucible. While I'm doing that, I would ask you to go to the Hall of the Radiant Host and see any new information, if any new information. Does that plan sound agreeable? Sounds good to me. Great, now we both have our tasks. Let's get them. I'll meet you back once my business is done. Normally it takes a few seconds to paint these, but since I'm not in combat, I can just use them instantly to prep my spells. Since I've been playing tabletop stuff lately, I would describe Pictomancer as a prepared spellcaster, since, well, they have to prepare their spells before going into combat. Otherwise, it's kind of a pain in the rear to have to take time out to paint the pictures to then use. I mean, if it's a long fight, like a boss fight, you will have to take that time, but hey, it's pretty hard. Excuse me, preoccupied Radiant. Have you seen this mysterious Justiciar? I'm tired of hearing about this Justiciar. His popularity among the young has become a cause for concern. Try as we might to refute his claims, the Radiant Haunts are allowing the beast to run amok. You know how young minds are, impressionable and difficult to change on set. We initially disregarded him as a boastful eccentric, but his alarming sway can no longer be ignored. We are at present considering whether to open a formal investigation into his activities. You and this ally of yours have done well in your search so far. You even have a working theory. Quite impressive. And several of our number have encountered him during our patrols, only to lose sight of him under a hail of rocks. Such incidents are all too frequent, and many in our ranks demand we act. For now, I'm afraid this is all the help I can offer. Please share what I've told you to companion. Together we might unmask this man. Sounds good to me. My guess is he might have lost someone during the last events of the last expansion, and so he's trying to... so he bears a grudge, I guess. Because Razathan was actually one of the nations that came out of that event stronger than before. Most of them have to pick up the pieces, and to an extent, Razathan does as well, but Razathan also ended up with quite a few benefits out of the deal. Although the others would have to get a lot later. Though, I mean, it makes sense. This is one of the areas introduced in that expansion. Of course, they'd get a decent amount of focus. Alright. It's heartening to know the Radiant Hosts are taking this seriously. Thanks for speaking with them, Coda. I have good tidings as well. I explained the situation to the alchemists, and they provided some powder that should detect traces of magic in the surrounding environment. I say help, because the powder reacts only faintly on its own. To function properly, it requires the skills of one practiced in arcane arts. Luckily, I have you. I've committed the locations of all the sightings to memory, and the closest to us will be perfumed rise. Let's hope this powder works as intended. Alrighty, let's see. Alright, yeah, let's teleport to the Great Work and start investigating. I love how so many mounts have their own unique theme music. Although this one being from the crossover event with Final Fantasy 16, it's of course from 16 music. And of course to promote it, because, you know, Square Enix loves cross-promotion. The Justiciar was sighted near here, and I don't see any other conspicuous stones around, so I'll sprinkle the powder over this one. Now concentrate your focus, your inner eye, on whatever the locus is of her power, and see if you can detect anything. Alright, time to paint all this to life. Alrighty. Time for magical paint to do its thing. Bring to life the power of the imagination. There it is. I can detect something here. So, were you able to detect anything? Yes, there was definitely some sort of magic being at work here. I knew you could do it. So because there are no crystals in the rock, the energy detected must be the remnants of some kind of spell, is that right? And taking the story of the Radiant we rescued previously, we can conclude that Justier uses the treasure to call these stones down from the sky. It might just be using stones as the most convenient tool, since there's so many rocks, outcroppings, and plateaus here, and at least we now have an inkling of its true nature. Even so, not every question has been answered. The Radiant told us that even as the Justiciar stood before the creature, he seemed to have trouble calling forth the Apex's power first. Father once said the perch of the Apex is much like the wand he used to weave his magics. Of course, the main difference between them is the unique nature of the essence stored within the treasure. Alright, so it's a catalyst, magical catalyst of some sort, like our magical paintbrush. I know little of such arcane instruments, but you seem to be quite familiar then. How do you use yours? I channel ether into it. We channel ether into it, and basically, by focusing on, well, I see, so even with the right instrument, spellcasting requires some specific techniques. The Justiciar seems to lack any such expertise, so how did he tap into the treasure's power? Oh, so he's not naturally a mage or a magic user of any form, so he had no idea how to properly use it. I suppose the Perch of the Apex possesses some unique method of activation. So when I spoke to the representatives of the other tribes of other treasures, no one mentioned special techniques being required. Not that relics should have that much common to begin with. You two, did you see an Ari girl pass by here by herself? I'm afraid not. What happened? Wait, I recognize you both. Here are the final days and our recent visitor from Tyrol. Apologies for the imposition, I say. May I beg your assistance, however? It's all the Justiciar's fault. The girl said she was off to join the Fool's Crusade and ran out of Yedlamad before anyone could stop her. I see, so he's trying to gather allies, but for what purpose? Her mother begged us to find her, but if she's following the Justiciar, she could be anywhere. You see, she's been sighted at locations scattered all over Thavnair. At least Thavnair is only so big because it's an island nation, so we can't stand here looking at rocks while the girl's in danger, especially if the Justiciar's involved. Let's go help. Sounds good to me. That'd be much appreciated. We're searching places where he's been spotted, so perhaps you could check the ones he hasn't been yet. Good idea. As far as I know, he hasn't been sighted at the northern shores. Come, Coda. Come to think of it, it could also be dynamis, another form of energy. Another form of energy instead of ether, but though I guess that could have been implied with the quote-unquote sheer willpower part. Oh, here she is. I don't see her anywhere. I hope she's safe. Oh, right. I have to prepare my spells because we might have a fight. Oh, oh, okay, there we are. I'll just use my dash to get her sooner rather than later. Sheesh. He talks big about wanting to make a crusade and then doesn't even help the people who are supposed to be joining him on his crusade. Blizzard and cyan, stone and yellow, thunder and magenta. There we are, landscape painting done. I heard some fighting, so I came as fast as I could. A good thing you arrived in time to save the girl. Oh, thank you, mister. Thank you. I'm glad you're safe, but your mother must be worried sick. You shouldn't wander off like that, especially looking for a trickster like the Judiciar. You mean he's a bad man? Yes, he stole an important treasure from my village, and now he's using it to make himself look brave. But he needs to kill the monsters and protect us. That's no excuse for stealing. He might have fueled you younglings, but the Radiant hosts know what he's up to. We said save us the monsters. He's our hero. The Radiant said we shouldn't be scared. But we all know that Justiciar is the one who keeps us safe. We don't need the Radiance anymore. Now, no hero can save the world alone. Even I was in a group when I saved the world. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say bad things about them. They protected everyone the final days. I guess I forgot how much they care about us. I'm sorry, too. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that after all you've been through. You said before he's a thief and trickster. I hope that's not true, because he's my hero. Well, I'd best escort her back. I'll meet you there later, Coda. Let's go ahead and teleport there real quick. A shame I don't get to use my Common in Black spell, but I'm sure I'll get a chance to use it. That girl and her mother reunited, and I think we can give both ourselves a pat on the back. They're on their way now to inform the Radiant host that all's well. I would like to apologize before I let my emotions get the better of me and harangued that poor girl when she was hardly blamed for anything. I really should have been scolding myself. Huh? Something up? Coda, there's something I neglected to tell you before. The man who now calls himself the Justiciar came to us in the guise of a worldly merchant. He was eager to ask about the purchase of the Apex and its history, and I was equally eager to tell him, not even considering what he might do with that information. I mean, there's nothing wrong with telling people the history of stuff. It's 100% on them if they then choose to steal something against all the advice. Yeah, that was just a bot. Luckily the luckily the auto mod got it. I'm so proud of my father. Father being appointed as guardian. I suppose I was trying to impress the stranger out of sheer that vanity led to my father being attacked, the treasure being stolen. I have no choice but to make amends for my mistake and get it back. Yes, some are convinced the Justiciar acts only to serve the greater good. I couldn't accept he might not be as rotten as I thought and lashed out at the wrong person. From now on, I can't let my own emotions cloud my judgment. I must remain calm and look at the facts for what they are. The facts say the Justiciar has done no people the harm of Thavnair. Even so, the organization he serves, the Pastors of the Unbound, is evil to the very core. If his actions of my village are not villainy, I don't know what is. The situation is fraught with contradictions, and I don't know what to think. What about you, Coda? I'd say there's still far too many unanswered questions. We need more information before we act. I agree. He speaks of justice and heroism with great bluster, yet there's something we're missing. Thank you, Coda, for such wise words. Sometimes I find it difficult to keep my heart from skewing my perspective, and I'm grateful you're here to help me see clearly. Nah, I've had to have others help me, guide me sometimes. And so our objective's unchanged. We track down the man who stole my people's sacred treasure. Whatever his intentions may be, unraveling them is secondary to finding the man himself. I'll continue to pour my every effort into the search, and stop by from time to time, and I may have some news to share with you. A brand of justice. Clearly I need to get a drink, so let me just do that real quick. The seeds of popularity. She's eager to share her new developments. Coda, I hope you've been well. Since we last spoke, the Judiciar has been busy felling fiends all over, leaving a trail of witnesses behind his wake. More than a few reported seeing stones falling from the sky, which all but confirms our theory the treasure is causing the phenomenon. all these stories share one more peculiar commonality. The pests he hunts have all been of the seedkin variety. I don't why he avoids beasts of flesh and blood yet is a mystery. It bears mentioning that each one of these eyewitness accounts came from people who were rescued, who invariably appears just as these creatures attack. In fact, the Justiciar has been there to save the day in every single instance of seedkin-related mischief. Awfully suspicious if you ask me, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. Someone on the Radiant Host suggests he's planning these assaults somehow, that he alone could reap the glory for thwarting him, and I agree. This should be our next avenue of investigation. Yeah, if they're seedkin, it's possible he's got a garden where he's growing them somewhere before he unleashes them. Many of the incidents occurred near the Giant Skull ground, so we should start our search there. If we can find one of these monstrous plants before it finds hapless play, we might be able to shed some light on the methods. Time is of the essence, so let us leave at once. Curiouser and curiouser. We know he's not all good, since he obviously broke in and stole that relic sight unseen. But at the same time, he's trying to be productive. But if he's also making these monsters he's attacking, then this could in fact all these? Yeah, they are. Right, 80, not 90. But yeah, but if he's making these, then yeah, he's just trying to get people to like him for some reason. Any moving bushes, slithering vines? Not here in any case. All sorts of western path. Why don't you search east? If you see something, don't strike to kill. Weaken it, then capture with this rope. We'll learn more from a live specimen. Sounds good to me. That's some very pretty scenery. Yeah, I really love the Endwalker areas. They all just so neat. Cultivated marble seedling. Hello, my friend. Now, bonkies. Cartoon hammer. Sturdy rope. Well, rope's often used to capture plant life. Sometimes there's only one tool available. Searching the area, you almost trip over a bunch of vine-like tentacles. While hardly monstrous, you give it a good trouncing before tying it up. Bring it to her to see what she wishes to do with a tiny specimen. I'd best not mount up for this and just hand it over. Wait, what's this? Starmite. Oh, those are insect enemies. He doesn't use fight insect kins, so we'll be here. I see. Plenty of fauna roaming about, but all the full lore seems to be correct, rooted to the ground variety. Perhaps my hunch was incorrect. Captured marble seedling. Not even an Auroch could break free from the knots binding this marble seedling. You found one. In fact, this is exactly as the eyewitness described. It's also... So not only is he unleashing these, but he's also making sure they're very weak so that they won't be too big of a threat. I'll just keep for the time being. Bring it to the Great Work, and I'll ask my acquaintance there to examine it with all haste. This alchemist and I spoke briefly last time I was here. Give her the little seedkin you thought, and we'll see what she makes of it. Mistress Tepeki told me what to expect. Let's see the thing. Here we are. There we are. Good thing I know how to tie my knots. Oh, I didn't expect it to be so diminutive. If her intuition's correct, I suspect some interesting discoveries are to be in store. You've certainly brought me quite a fascinating specimen indeed. I can say for certain the creature's growth isn't natural in the slightest. Biologically, it's still a sapling, as you can tell by its size, yet the result of the specific alchemical mixture which used to spur the growth. Yet it is a result of a specific alchemical mixture which is used to spur the growth of seeds and mycelium to an unnatural degree. The agents have a side effect of making the creatures more aggressive, which explains why such a small specimen would boldly attack things larger than itself. Yet the solution requires ingredients most rare, and the cost of procuring enough to synthesize would be beyond the cost to synthesize it would be beyond the means of most. So whoever's behind this are likely has a lot of money, basically. As for the creatures themselves, they were grown artificially. Perhaps that explains why most incidents involve small seedkin. Rather than wait for them to mature naturally, he must have accelerated the growth so he could deploy huge numbers over a short span of time. In fact, his plan likely requires they be small, weak foes to guarantee his victory. After all, a great justiciar could hardly be expected to bear a blemish of defeat. With these new details brought to light, it's almost certain he's staging these attacks. Now we have new perspective to guide our search. Perhaps you should return to Yelmod. I hear he's the talk of the village, and they doubtless have stories to share. Splendid idea, thank you. Your findings have brought us a step closer to unmasking the villain. Let's hurry to Yelmod. The more accounts we have of the Justiciar, the better our chances of predicting his next move. I only hope my analysis aids you in finding the answers you seek. The alert Radiant. Rest assured, the Radiant hosts are well aware of this guy. Every day we receive more reports of him combating beasts in the surrounding wilderness. These encounters are never on well-traveled road, it seems. They occur in remote regions we scarcely patrol along routes that are only used by a small number of merchants and porters. We conclude he either has uncommon knowledge of behavior patterns or he keeps close company with a merchant who travels these paths. Rainbow Drip. Oh, right. I was gonna make a drip-related joke about that, but I wasn't sure if that was too late to be doing such a thing. Oh, you're hungry to learn more? He's amazing. I was lucky enough to catch a glimpse of him on the road, facing down some fearsome creature. I don't know how he did it, but he called down rocks from the sky to knock it flat. The Radiant hosts were on patrol, so if he hadn't come to our rescue, the brutes would have marched right into our homes. He shouted that he was the savior of Razahan. He even waved at me. Oh, he looked so impressive with the sun shining behind him. And it doesn't want me to come chasing that half-baked savior. The younglings may have been taken by his honeyed words, but anyone with experience can tell he's nothing but a charlatan, and I have a story to prove it. A merchant I know took a tumble as he was transporting his goods. Not long after, the justiciar, looking as chivalrous as he pleased his shining armor, did he offer a helping hand? No, he ran off with nary a glance. He may go slaying beasts, but a real hero would never ignore someone in need, even if they were suffering from scraped knees and a bruised ego. Interesting. Hey Coda, do you have a moment? I'm having a little trouble here. I saw this merchant out because I was told he dealt with the alchemist of the great work. I thought I might know something, but when I asked, he's like this ever since. Apologies, I'm just surprised you would ask me about that madman. What connection would you possibly have with me? The fiends he fights are grown with rare alchemical materials, and we think he might be staging these encounters. Since you deal with such wares, I wonder if you might know who might have come into how he might have come into their possession. I don't know what you're asking about. I've never spoken to that man. Ver, eh? I very much doubt that. Perhaps he'll be more receptive to you questioning him, right, Coda? Alright, buddy. He seems to have intimate knowledge of trade routes and alchemy. Who taught him, I wonder? Come now, any merchant with a nose profit has good relations with the alchemists. By word of staking, could be any one of us could league with Verazon. Verazon, you said, and who is that, I may ask? We never knew it. We never said his true name. That's my name. You're too late, buddy. I've already drawn you as the Wojak and me as the Chad. That's the power of a Pictomancer at work. Oh, I'd be a fool to continue this charade any longer. My son is the one you speak of. He's suddenly confronted with this. To be suddenly confronted with his litany of misdeeds, I lost my composure. You're his father. Do you know how he became in possession of such rare materials and knowledge? Aye, because he stole them from me. The most valuable materials are my precious maps, yet I was the one who chose to hide that fact and bear the blame for the consequences. What can you tell us about him as a person? Verazon is obsessed with tales of legendary heroes. Even from a young age, I paid a great deal of money to have him tutored in the art of a bow. He became quite skilled at it, but not quite as skilled as his arrogance would lead him to believe. Due to this, perhaps lack of ambition, he never aspired to true greatness. Instead, he became to rely on the fanciful equipment and exotic potions, rather than honing the skills he had. It pained me to see him fall into dissoluteness, but he would brook no counsel, so several years ago I gave him enough coin to support his lavish lifestyle and told him never to speak to me again. He didn't until but recently, when he darkened my doorstep once more. And that's when he stole your goods? Although I would have willingly given them if he'd but asked. He was rambling incoherently, saying his heroic deeds have caught the eye of someone named Apahi, leader of the Passage of Unbound, whoever they are. He claimed that under the guidance of his newfound allies, he obtained great power to eclipse all the heroes come before and shall come after, as he put it. It seems he gives what money still has to those people. I like to think, for all the fanciful words, he only deigned to grasp at hollow glory at the expense of Razahan. There's no greater shame. To think that for all his fanciful words, he's only deigned to grasp at hollow glory, all at the expense of Razahan. No greater shame as a father. Given what we know of this shadowy group, most likely aimed to sow discontent through Verazon's deeds. He may be so blindsided by his own desire for adoration he can't see whose hands are pulling his strings. You're saying he's being used? If that's true, then I can no longer remain silent, despite what shame it may bring. I now see that sharing my story might be the only way to save my son. Indeed, I suggest you tell the Radiant Host. Of course, we'll be pouring every effort into stopping him. Thank you for giving me direction. I didn't imagine our meeting would end this way. Truth be told, I'm not entirely unsympathetic towards him. I bask in my father's reflected glory, while having none of my own to speak of. The glory Verazon speaks is similarly false. I too shall visit the Radiant Host and have them spread word about his true nature. If the people are wise to his trickery, they'll be far more likely to aid us. You'll soon learn that a legend built on lies is no match for true heroism. Huh. This is only about halfway through, isn't it? Oh well, maybe we can nod off early. Go for a nap or something. Floundering Flame. She appears pleased by the blow dealt to his credibility. Greetings, Coda. Verazon's father has been as good as his word and confessed the truth of his son's actions to whomever will listen. Even among the younglings, fewer sing of his praises. The tide's turning in our favor at last. The Radiant Host are making ready to tighten the net. Speaking of which, they had a curious news to share. They've been examining all the stones left behind by the Justiciar and noticed a pattern. They're all common varieties of rock found near the site of each encounter. For instance, near Giant Skull, the Justiciar called down a hail of not elves but Giant Skull. I have my own theories about what this means, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Safe to say the artifact doesn't create rocks from nothing. Indeed, the perch of the apex likely lifts whatever stones are nearby and just brings them down. If our suspicions are correct, we're one step closer to unraveling its mysteries. But despite these favorable developments, his popularity remains a problem. Even with a recent blow, his most ardent followers still idolize him. In fact, I hear he's handing letters out to youth, though their contents are a closely guarded secret. All the more reason to investigate, don't you think? Once we get to Razahan, if I question the people in the marketplace, could you cover the western quarter? That's where the younger followers tend to gather. After we've got enough information, let's share our findings. See you again, Coda. We could lie and pretend to be followers, but then again, it's only the young ones that seem to be, so they'll probably see through the lie. Then again, we do know someone who was at one point a follower of his and no longer is. So we might be able to abuse the new connections to make that easier. Alright, let's go to the main area here. And as per usual, I must paint. Paint! Paint! Huh, wonder if this is how my artist buddies feel. Sulking youth. Justiciar gave me the invitation himself, only for some thief to snatch it right out of my hand. Huh? You believe him too? I didn't have a chance to read the whole letter before it was stolen, but he's gathering most devoted for a special audience. The bastard stole my invitations up to no good, even muttered something about getting revenge, but who could hate someone so noble? I see. Thanks to the bloater's reputation, he might be deciding to act sooner rather than later. Oh, you're the one who's always following Tepeki around. I heard she's spreading rumors about the city's savior. I won't let her harm his reputation anymore. She already has, so I've got nothing to say to her lapdog. Ask me again, the answer will be the same. Get out of my sight. Yeah, I knew they'd see through it if I tried to lie, so it might be easier to just go with someone who was once a follower and no longer is. Yeah, I know about the letters. Me and my friends didn't get one, though. The grown-ups get angry if we talk about him. But guess what? I heard Zasal talking about him. He's got him over at Myriad's Main. He's got a big grin on his face, too. Does that mean he isn't a bad man like the grown-ups say? Most of the clues point towards the merchant Zasal having some connection. He was last seen. Oh, he's at the restaurant. Okay, then. Over to the restaurant. I was talking before, oh yeah. Well, Pictomancer is definitely overtuned. I do think the people directly comparing Black Mage spell potencies to the Pictomancer is a bit much. Because if you just because that doesn't take into account other stuff, like Black Mages have a spell in Notion that should be active all times, so, and you can certainly bet your sweet Bippy that the Black Mage spells are balanced in their potencies, assuming you have that buff. Picto's buff, I guess Picto does also have its own buff, but it's not up all the time, I believe. Well, they'll probably balance it in the coming patches. They've already been doing some various changes here and there. Aha, it's true what they say, a fool and his gill are soon parted. Excuse me. Huh? Wife, isn't one of the heroes of the final days? Isn't this about the map I sold to your companion, isn't it? You'll find it points to the very vaults of Asdal, exactly as described. I may have made a few creative methods to entice my customers. Employed a few creative methods to entice my customers, but merchant doesn't. I see you're as unscrupulous as ever. Lucky for you, I'm here for a different reason. Now, a man can't fill his belly on virtue and honesty. Any road, something tells me that's not why you're here. You're right. Oh, you're after the Justiciar. Your choice of quarry is unusual, to say the least. Perhaps I can help you along, huh? A young man came asking for the map. I sold him every map I had, assuring one he needed was among them. I suppose he found it, as I hear those letters were handed out to contain a copy of the map. I dare say that young fellow was the Justiciar himself. And he's planning a clandestine meeting in the Urzanar canals. Mind you, it appears he has no shortage of enemies. No doubt they'll try to interfere. Thankfully, Razahan isn't known for large-scale criminal organizations, but that hasn't kept the less scrupulous citizens from dirtying their hands when times are desperate. From what I hear, bandits seeking to rob trade caravans keep running the Justiciar during his fiend-felling exploits, causing their raids end in failure. Like as not, they'll try to infiltrate his group and sell the score. And that's where my knowledge of the matter ends. If you're wondering about where the meeting place is, all I remember the spot marked was somewhere in the Shroud of Samga. Does that answer your queries? Yes, it does. Alright, I'll let you off the hook this time, buddy, since you've been so helpful. Location somewhere. I can't remember much beyond that. Perhaps you could stop bothering me now. It's probably gonna be faster to go to the main ether, right, and warp on over. There we are. I do appreciate the dash ability having a free sprint for a little while afterward. Those in support of the Justiciar don't seem surprised when I told him his misdeeds, but they were still reluctant to betray him. In short, I've had no luck. What about you? I think I might have a lead, actually. Your investigative abilities never cease to amaze me. As for this gathering's planning, I expect some sort of scheme to prop up his flagging popularity. Even so, many of his devotees are younglings, ill-equipped to make the perilous journey. If they have any sense, rather than attempt to travel there directly, they'll stop at settlements along the way to rest and confirm the route. You said the map led to the Shroud of Samga, yeah? That means the Palkas stand at the closest. I hear many took refuge there in the final days, and it's now a bustling town in its own right. The arrival of more people would hardly raise eyebrows, making the perfect place to avoid unwanted attention while they make ready. We should head there before they leave on the final leg of their journey. That's right. I was right, Coda. Many of the youths are carrying pieces of parchment. That must be the letters. Yet, it seems my reputation has preceded me. Our suspected followers avoided me when I tried to approach them. Still, we can use this to our advantage. None of them would dare leave Palakistan when there's a risk I might follow after. I'll keep watch over the comings and goings, but make sure to leave obvious blind spots. If one of the followers attempt to escape the village, I need you to go after them. Now, find a vantage point that offers a good view to keeping you hidden. Once you start pursuing an unwitting target, I won't be far behind. Yeah, no doubt. I imagine Justiciar himself would have probably made an effort to establish her as a villain of sorts. He might try to badmouth me as well, but he can only do so much there. My reputation here is high enough that that penalties to it are only going to do so much. Good, he's not seeing me in my bushes despite my pastel and flamboyant outfit. Follow the young man. Oh, right. Alright, let's hope and pray that this doesn't require time to follow the map. Let's just hope and pray it's not like the Garlean one where they immediately looks behind it. Where he not only turns around to look behind himself, but also, runs around specifically to check a hiding spots nearby. No one's following. Someone there? He shouldn't see me because I broke in line of sight by being a bit lower. I'm in the clear. I'll need to hurry. Yeah, I know it's really video gamey to add all these mechanics and stuff to see exactly where he's seeing and all that, but I'd rather that over that Garlean quest I won't keep banging on about. This is significantly more tolerable. I made it. Did something move? I think I'm hidden by the rock. Maybe I should have hidden by the tree. Just my imagination. I probably don't have to worry about the gorilla because I'm over 10 levels higher. Enemies usually won't attack if they're over 10 levels higher. Granted, no area map points here. Here we are. Duty complete. Okay, yeah, I do think the Dawntrail escort missions have been significantly more tolerable than the Endwalker ones. They're still not a favorite, but I do get they want to mix things up with less combat. Portal should be nearby. Then I'll finally get to meet him. Yo, buddy, I'm here. You meet the Justiciar. What? You're the hero who saved us final days. What are you doing here? So you're working alongside the woman? I'd heard about the rumors she was spreading, but I had no idea she enlisted your aid. Justiciar saved me. You see, I was transporting goods from the local merchant who was too miserly to even hire a proper escort. A ferocious creature ambushed me, but my savior appeared out of nowhere and saw off the beast. I owe him my life. That's why I came here, to see if there's any truth to rumors. But now I understand I'm in over my head. I'm going back home. Here, you have the map. I trust you to take the measure of the Justiciar and share the truth with us all. Well, I'm glad this person was understanding. Apologies for watching with the shadows, but I was afraid my presence might startle the lad. I was able to hear what he said, though, and gratitude towards the Justiciar seems genuine. I dare say the other followers will feel similarly. Now that we have a map of our own, let's open the portal and confront him. Well, treasure maps are how you enter the canals, that's for sure. Everyone seems injured in some fashion. Did he just have rocks fall on all of them? What a sight. Did the treasure cause this? Oh my, if it isn't the hero... if it isn't the hero who saved Razahan, nay, the world itself, I never expected so vaunted to attend my audience, but I'm honored nonetheless. Enough of your games, Virazon. Stop this madness at once. After giving you such a warm welcome, this is the thanks I get. While it is true that I was once known by that name, 'twas merely a guise I wore till I discovered my true self. Actually, I guess he does look like a Final Fantasy Tactics judge. Well, Tactics Advance in A2, but... well, they're all judges. So long as I am the masked hero of Razahan, I shall not suffer any to call me Virazon. But, that is your name, isn't it? A hero should take pride in their name. It would seem the Justiciar's meager alter ego has been brought to light. But will he shrink once more of the shadows of obscurity or embark on the next chapter of his legend? Very well. My name shall ring throughout Razahan. Let it be known the Justiciar is Virazon, and Virazon is the Justiciar. Oh, what are you saying? You unleash the perch of the apex upon your own followers. You know its name? Wait, I remember you. The girl from Dawntrail, is it not? Your follower's artifact is not discriminating in its wrath. Some among my followers harbored wicked intentions and to sorrow unto my enemies. The true of heart caught in the aftermath were unfortunate. But they believed in you even though you tricked them. What kind of hero are you? Let me paint you a picture. You too would oppose me. I thought as a fellow saviors we might have some common ground. It would seem we're destined to walk different paths. Now faced with unknown peril, a great fervor rages within me. Are you burying yourself now? However, here's not the where we shall match which. No, more fitting battlegrounds in order. We'll meet again soon, you have my word. I love the little weapon draw animation for the Picto. Ah, shut up! Ah! Wait, he didn't actually move? Interesting. Well, the good news is he's not hiding anymore, but... So, can you tell us what happened here? He gathered us all around and made a grand speech, claiming he's a hero that would drive back the flood of fiends threatening Thavnair. Then he spoke of his anger at recent rumors, told us to go forth and repair his damaged reputation so that people would love him again. He became quite impassioned, in fact. As for us two, we're here to teach him a lesson, bide our time till the back was turned, but we couldn't stomach his self-righteous drivel. He acts like he's a god come to grace Thavnair, but most people have grown wise to his tricks, including the Radiant Host. We stepped forward and told him as much, demanded he admit he's been pulling the wool over everyone's eyes. That's when he started waving that thing about. We soon learned the rumors of the power were true. Rocks started falling all around us. Even as true believers were not spared. There was nowhere to run. Justiciar said such power cannot be fed, or the sacrifices are unavoidable, all while he was laughing. We pleaded him with mercy, but that just made him angry. He flourished under the object, and yet more rocks assailed us. It was horrible. Stones big and small rained down endlessly until you two appeared. Thank you for telling us it happened. I only wish we could have arrived sooner. Now, let's get these straight. It was you two that brandished your weapons first, yes? Well, I won't deny that. We were only trying to bring the truth of his misdeeds to light, though we might have had some personal scores to settle on top of that. Do tell. Before I left Palakistan, I asked the Radiant Hosts to look out for anyone returning from the wilderness. I suggest you head there and seek their aid. While you're there, share with them what you just told us. As for the pair of you, don't even think about running away or you'll have us to deal with. Everyone returned to the care of the Radiant Host. As those ruffians who meant to attack Virazon, it seems they had a history of violence for which they may soon answer. Several among Virazon's followers were dealt serious wounds. We can be grateful that none lost their lives. It's exactly as the old saying says, the master shall be showered in good fortune, yet lead only sorrow in their wake. The part about sorrow certainly seems true at least. We can but hope that his spell over the people has been broken at last when word of what transpired here becomes common knowledge. Let that buoy our spirits when we return. There we go. Well, that was certainly an ordeal. Though Virazon got away, we can look back upon what transpired to plan our next course of action. It appears the treasure takes rocks in the surrounding environment and makes them rain down on the wielders' surroundings. However, the power seems somewhat haphazard. While Virazon himself was not struck, the boulders assailed friend and foe alike. Something else has been nagging at me. The stones we saw in the canal seem quite a bit larger than the others. I don't know what to make about it. We should get some thought. We still don't know exactly how it controls the Apex's abilities either. We must focus on these mysteries as we continue our investigation. As for Virazon himself, he said he was just as his father said, right? His so-called heroism is an empty charade, a child playing a hero from the storybooks. He seems motivated by a vain desire to gain love of the people, yet he cares nothing for their well-being. Yeah, despite claiming himself a hero of the people, he has surprisingly little empathy for them. He'll soon learn his lesson soon enough, though. None will sing his praises after word of what happened at the Uznanar spreads. Even he must know this. I'm worried this desperation could drive him to worse misdeeds. If the treasure is used in reckless abandon, it could cause untold harm. I must discuss this with the Radiant Host. Together we might be able to capture Virazon before he attempts anything drastic. Stand by for now, Coda. I'll be in touch the moment I have something to share. Sounds good to me. We're almost at the end already, oh my. She wishes to share the contents of a recent delivery with you. It seems Virazon has been laying low since our last encounter. I'm sad to say, however, that my investigations have uncovered little, but there's still cause to celebrate, for I received a letter from my mother with good tidings. My father finally awoken after the grievous wound dealt to him by Virazon. He's well enough to travel to Tuliyola, in fact, and may have already arrived. Of course, I'd love nothing more than go to him, but I pledge not to return until I have purchased the Apex in hand. Besides, I'm soon to depart with the Radiant Host to try and sniff out his whereabouts before he acts out of desperation. That's why I ask you to go in my stead. As the treasure's guardian, no one living is more knowledgeable about its history than he. If you share with him all that's transpired, he may be able to point out something We missed. I know it's a lot to ask, Coda, but the safety of Thavnair depends on it. Please give my family my regards. My mother should be able to tell you where in Tuliole Father's staying. Once you're finished, let's meet here at the Aetheryte Plaza to share what we've learned. Whoopsie. I don't need a countdown. I need to return. Alright, yeah, the first guy just seemed to want to cause chaos for the sake of it. Basically, the Dark Knight Joker. But this guy, he just seems to have delusions of grandeur. He probably thought he was using the, he probably would claim he was just using the, Unbound just to get the artifact for his great acts of heroism, but he's completely delusional. Well, terrible things can and have been done in the name of altruism. He's clearly doing it for selfish reasons, but I'm not sure if even he is aware of that. Suhi. Oh, it's Coda, but I want to see Tepeki with you. Or did you come alone? Basically, I'm glad to hear my red arrived safely, and Tepeki seems to be as tenacious as ever in her search. Her father's only just arrived here in Tuliolol, but has barely stayed in one place since. He seems desperate to help from a distance in whatever way he can. He told me he was traveling the Prairian Plain in search of information. If we should speak with him, he's doubtless in that area. Alright, I should have flight unlocked here. There we are. Oh, right, I forgot. I knew I forgot something. Some of the I was doing the quest between roulettes today, and and apparently I forgot one. I'm guessing they're forcing me to go here because they realize I need a fight for this level, when we haven't had one yet, or one isn't planned. Of course. Oh yeah, fire in red, air in green, and water in blue. That's right, the 1, 2, 3 combo is RGB. Here you are, Netsi. Oh, thank you, traveler. I overextended myself, but I've but recently recovered from a severe injury, and I was a fool to confront such a beast alone. It's okay, I made it here in time. So you're the code I've heard so much about. I owe you many thanks for all you've done to recover the approach to the Apex. News of your progression is most heartening. Despite my position as its guardian, I never knew it could rain down stones from the heavens. Since arriving to Tuliolol, I've done what I can to shed light upon the Troll Vidral sealed within the treasure. Well, that's an interesting face accessory. After the nations of Troll were unified, some left our village to create new homes in the city. I've sought them out to see if they knew anything of use. Unfortunately, none could offer insight to the treasure's magics. One of them told me an owl has lurked around this place. And since Troll Vidral sealed within was once an owl, I assumed logical to pursue such a quarry. I thought perhaps I could glean something about the ancient beasts from their behavior. Like as not, some fundamental aspects remain the same even after their transformation. By having heard your account, there's one fundamental difference that stands out. As far as I'm aware, no owl native of these lands possesses the ability to hurl rocks, large or otherwise. No doubt the Troll Vidral gained this power upon it following its metamorphosis. I do believe, however, that it would retain an owl's core instinct, that when you fought didn't strike unprovoked. Instead, it watched me afar from with fear in its eyes. While this is normal behavior from most animals, I was surprised at how suddenly it descended upon me the moment I started approaching. I see, it might have sensed danger and attacked preemptively. I had the same thought. The owl sensed a threat and chose to confront it rather than run. The same impulse may have driven the Vigil Troll. Indeed, that correlates with something I've heard from my countrymen who had relocated to Riolol. Spoke of a continuation of the tales present down from the elders. No hunter's arrow could fell the apex. It was struck down in a storm of its own wrath, made wild by a heart of fright. Thus it was sealed away at last. Judging from the owl's behavior, I can theorize the treasure is activated once bearer senses danger, and according to the story, its power can easily get out of control if the bearer is panicked. Of course, this theory must be tested. Verazon will certainly use it again, and when he does, I ask you pay special attention to the circumstance leading to its activation. You have my thanks. Loathsome though I am to admit it, I've yet to recover from my long convalescence. I would only be a burden to you. I wish I could aid my daughter another way, but you more than make up for my absence. Please lend her every bit of knowledge you have. I pray my daughter will soon return home, treasure in hand. Don't worry, I'll make sure of it. Pray return to Tepekin and give her my regards. I can only hope an old man's wild theory can help you in your request. Yeah, I'm probably gonna leave Razat Han as a favorite destination for a little bit. Because I'm probably gonna be going back here just to... Well, first of all, it'll probably be easy to do the relic stuff, but also, I've got a lot of jobs at level 90 that I need to prep for the long road to 100. Coda, you came just in time. Verazon has shown his face at Razat Han. You can tell me about your journey later. For now, come with me. Oh good, that means I can do precisely what the father asked. So it reacts when it senses danger, but it cannot discriminate between friend and foe because it cannot control its own powers. Ah, are you surprised? Thanks to the sage council fellow hero, I've decided to doff my mask. Although my face is unfamiliar, I believe you know who I am. I was once Justiciar, but now you may call me Verazon. I am Thavner's protector, savior, hero. You may have heard salacious rumors that I have orchestrated the very attacks I have so valiantly driven back. That I was behind the catastrophe of the canals. I'm here to assure you. Those are false aspirations all, cast by those envious of their betters. I give my life for this fair city and its people, and I would give more still if I could. What should we do? It might be best to lock him before this gets out of hand. Wait, we don't want him running down rocks all these bystanders. For now, let's just keep an eye on him. All I ask is your respect and adoration, a dream held by all but realized only by few. And I am one of those few. I have proven myself worthy of being savior, and now, with the entire city wetching with bated breath, I shall declare my intent to reach higher. Yes, for I can protect you better as your ruler. I shall retire the mantle of hero and take up the crown. Now that's something now that's a delusion of grandeur no one's gonna entertain. That bastard's gone mad. I wield power unassailable. With me on your throne, you would never again have cause to fear. We will all live in peace. All would shower me with love, and they would shout to the heavens. And from that love would spring forth a new Razat Han, a greater Razat Han. Enough of your lies, Verazon. The power you wield protects none but yourself. To everyone else, it only brings ruin. Of course, the road to greatness is paved with necessary sacrifices. Yet as long as your ruler lives, Razat Han will know naught but prosperity. It's easy to just talk about about a necessary sacrifice when you aren't the one making the sacrifice. You think you're better than Master Vatra? He bore the city and its people on his back, while you look fit to collapse under the weight of your own armor. You're no leader. You're a damn joke. Does this man speak for you all? Is not one among you who would follow me to a brighter future? But I'm nothing if not magnanimous. Until you find wisdom to accept me, I shall continue to stand vigilant as your eternal shield. Stop this, Verazon. You're only making it worse for yourself. Can't you see you've become a laughingstock? Give up the facade and answer for your sins. Do so now, and the Radiant Host may grant mercy. My sins? Are you not the one poisoning people against me? Do your worst, I dare you. It'll only make me more powerful. I know not what's in your heart, but please end this madness, end it and return to be my son. Don't get any closer. You two? Why are you? Whoa! Don't. If we fight here, there's no telling how many innocents will be wounded. Pathetic. As ever, I tire of this farce. I have declared my intent to become king of Razan. As for you two, this is no place for a battle between heroes. We shall meet again, mark my words, and there we shall decide who is mightier. Luckily, I can paint rocks, as we've discovered. No, like the Radiant Host said, if we try to force a fight here, the innocent bystanders will get caught in, and bluntly, hey, that's going to just get in our way more than his. We can't risk a confrontation in the city. This is just not safe. Ah, you're right, of course. As much as I hate to see Verazon walk free, we've yet to ascertain the extent of his power. For now, we must bide our time. I noticed that despite all who proclaimed his love for his people, he didn't even look back at them as he retreated. Perhaps he couldn't bear to look at them in the eyes, or one of them, at least. It does seem, it's only 2, so I can't say if it's an established pattern, but it does seem like the villains seem to be a dark mirror of our protagonists in some ways. But yeah, it's also clear that none of the members of Unbound are actually united in any way, shape, or form. They're just joining for their own benefit. Hello, stranger. You a challenger too? It seems House Sonor's disdain to open part of their treasure vault efforts to lift the city. To lift spirits in the city. I just had a thought. We should speak to Verazon's father. That was a disaster. If Verazon's truly lost, at the very least he's committed himself to fomenting unrest and fermenting unrest. Although he's my son, I cannot condone his actions. His words are grand but empty, and that ridiculous armor is nothing more than a gaudy decoration. He's truly the embodiment of false heroism. What's more, the last debacle has surely made him a criminal in the eyes of the Radiant Host. All I can do is beg that they give him some degree of clemency. Before you go, may I ask something? After Verazon called down the rocks, just his impression. I thought it peculiar, but I'm curious as to what his father saw in that face. Ah, it was a familiar look. When I used to scold him for losing himself in make-believe, he'd always cast those very same eyes. A look of petulant rage, as if he resented me for pulling him out of his reverie into harsh reality. He hasn't changed, but apologies, I must go. I see. This is definitely in line with the entire, expansion's theme of not getting lost in the fantasy. Just as I thought, even clad in shining armor, he can't bear to be told no, and now his childish games have taken a malevolent turn. But for now, let's return. I still have to hear what you said my father told you in Tuliolol. Well, don't worry, it's gonna be a lot easier now that we've confirmed the theory. Actually, even the Pictomancer's job quest kind of falls into that same. Interesting. The Angel Brush is nice, but I think I like the Renaissance Brush skin better. I'll have to use that one when I start making a glam outfit for it. But for now, I'm just using the artifact armor because it looks nice. Now that we have this room to breathe, I'd like to hear all about your journey. Father, have anything to share? Yes, and in fact, it was confirmed by that very event here. I'm hard to know he's well enough to go chasing after owls and such, though I wish he'd take more care. Thank you for saving him and bringing me his theory regarding the treasure. If it really is triggered by a sense of impending danger, that might explain why Verazon had trouble using it the first time. He wasn't truly afraid of that small fungi until it was almost upon him. It also explains how he can wield the Apex's powers despite having no training in magic. It responds to emotion, not intent. So much is falling into place. He goaded the remnants into apprehending him because he knew the threat would be answered. You saw how nonchalantly he quit the plaza, almost as if defying someone to stop him. Verrazon truly believes himself untouchable. I think his words and deeds align with the theory well enough, and as for that curious fragment of a story, it seemed to imply the Troll Vidral lost control in a panic. Perhaps its strength grows in proportion to the danger it senses, and when that danger is too great... You saw what happened to Uzar Canals. You were present both times, as were others who wished ill for Razan. Both times we saw stones much larger than we've seen before. It gets greater until it even affects himself. Now I understand why he's so eager to face you. An opponent of your caliber would strike fear into Verazan's very core. That fear will summon a power greater than any he's ever known. Power enough to bring a hero to his very knees. Or so he thinks, but we know better. We'll use that arrogance to our advantage and bring him crashing down to earth. Although we may have to contend with falling rocks, in a straight fight, he's outmatched. So we have to strike fast and hard until that fancy armor is nothing but mangled steel. Alright, you may prefer to put your foes to sleep and whatnot. We know he's an arsenal of alchemical concoctions at his disposal. That's why I suggest we have a good bit of good old-fashioned brute force. When you unleash your most fearsome destructive spells, I'll be your shield. Don't even think about holding back. Don't worry, that's entirely what Picto is really good at. I look forward to fighting by your side. Now we simply have to find a suitable arena. I shall have to consult the Radiant host about a location. Once that's decided, we'll confront him for the final time. Now for the final one. The Necromancer. Now that's a really rare title. That's for beating the Palace of the Dead all 200 floors solo. A very difficult feat. You will please know the Radiant host was most helpful in finding a place fit for a duel. When I saw it, even I began to believe our encounter would be one for songs. Speaking of which, it seems your name is on the lips of all and sundry. The people already consider you the true savior and believe you will bring him Verazon deceitful to the justice. We apologize so much for putting weight on your shoulders, but something tells me you're used to it. The final showdown shall take place in the mountain past the Indikaga, where the great crystals stand as witness to its conclusion. Suitably romantic and suitably isolated. The Radiant hosts have spread word that a hero has arisen to challenge Verazon, and his pride will force him to answer. The entrance to the past at Giant Skull Grounds. Let's head there at once to heed his arrival. Sounds good to me. Giant Skull Grounds should be pretty easy to reach. Alright, so basically he's hoping... Judging by the stream timer, it would seem that the melee job quest is a bit shorter than I was actually a bit shorter, because this one's actually being a decent bit longer, assuming I still have a decent amount less to go here. After all, I haven't even... It's already been an hour and a half, and I haven't even entered the duel area yet. I was climbing this ladder, dodging beasts left and right. It dawned on me that I had more courage than I realized. Perhaps I merely lack the proper motivation to use it. Drummel here opened the way to the Kaga. I'm certain Verazon will arrive before long, and will soon wipe that arrogant grin off his face. But first, check our gear and our loins for battle. Are you ready? Yeah. Yeah, I've got the artifact gear and all this. Ooh, that is not a good item. But it'll be good enough, I'm sure. I've been beating these at minimum. It's probably better I do this at minimum eye level anyways, just for the sake of, making it actually challenging. There he is. As long as there's a tank keeping his attention, I can cast freely. Through the cragged peaks of Kaga, desolate winds blow over the fields of battle. Oh, what a fitting location you've chosen for the conclusion of this legendary rivalry. It's hilarious that he can... It's cute that he's been considering us rivals this whole time. I was right not to face you before. In environs unsuited to a struggle between titans. Now my impatience is rewarded, my heart races in anticipation. I knew you'd answer a challenge. You wouldn't never be able to stomach the people calling you craven. Such boldness in the face of impending doom. Have you not realized by now that so long as I wield the perch of the apex, I am invincible? You'd be surprised how many invincible enemies I've defeated already. We'll soon put that to the test. You rely too much upon stolen power. It deludes you. You claim to be a savior, but they've seen through your lies. Even your own father can scarcely bear to look at you. You're nothing but a small man hiding in the hollow facade of a hero, and today we tear that facade down. Will you now? You may have the medal, but I have you the push to claim the mantle of hero. My mantle. You never had it. You simply told people you did. Unbound. Virazun the Deceiver. It's not even giving the serious battle music. The time for words has passed. Followed my lead. Those earrings are a bit much. I'm gonna have to, when I make the glam, I'm not gonna use those. Today we learn who the true hero is. Wow, I'm doing a lot of damage. That perch the apex awakens. Bonkies. Run, run, or be crushed under a hail of stones. Aha, not even. You are nimble enough to escape this. Give up, for I am invincible. Attacks are pretty. I need to stay away from that. You fiercely say, yet I wield potions can come and invite Thavnir's finest alchemists. His vitality is restored. You've done well, but our fight ends here. My alchemical million shall be your downfall. Oh no, AoEs with a caster. Whatever shall I, maiden? Yeah, I'll let you take care of the cultivated Ochu while I get my paints up. You defeated them already? But of course, who would wish for this duel to end so quickly? Looks like everything's on cooldown, so RGB it is. Yeah. Gah. His armor is gone. My armor. My armor. The artifact, I've never seen it shine so. Perch the apex. Paths of such power I've never witnessed before. The apex roars with fury untold. Hey, I'm casting here, buddy. Why won't you fall? This cannot be. I'm meant to be king. I cannot fall ere I take the throne. Oh, nice AoE. Get out of here, bloody things. Just stop them now. I cannot lose. Tepig is taking a bit of a beating. I need to hurry up my damage. We should both suffer grievous wounds. Perhaps we should consider this a draw. Oh, she healed herself a bit. Palm drop. Lost Verazon, lay down your weapon. Ugh. Well, that was easy. I'm utterly defenseless. This rotten piece of wood was supposed to make me invincible. Invincible! I can't move the artifact. Perch the apex. Smash it, 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 smash it. Apex's judgment. DPS check time. Verazon can't suppress the fear. It's hard. The Apex responded in kind. We have to stop it. I'm a hero. Come, someone save me. Swallow us if we can't stop it soon. Oh yeah, we need DPS. This is a DPS check, so. Oh yeah, I got the hammer. It's over. There we go. Yeah. Can't beat the bonk hammer. Then again, anything that's a guaranteed direct crit is going to be insane. Well, we did it. He's out cold. Now to take back the treasure. What's this? It can't happen. A hero never falls. I must retreat. Yes, tactical retreat. Noble retreat. The Justiciar may live another day. Huh? As expected, when its power is unleashed too much, it hits itself. There it is. With him knocked out, he's no longer feeling fear, which means it's no longer reacting. I suppose the Apex wasn't finished yet. And it seems that Verazon, in his cowardly haste, neglected to look skyward. Was it an unfortunate accident? Or fate delivering his just desserts? These are Manderville quest level expressions. Oh hey, that guy's a dancer. Neat. Good to the radiant host respects the value of powerful dancers. He claimed to be Razan's savior, yet he only sowed discontent amongst people. Perhaps some days in a sunless jail will give him time to reflect upon the error of his ways. And now I finally recovered the perch of the Apex. Thank you for coming this far with me, Coda. The battle was hard fought, but we made it through. Verazon is in the responsibility of the Radiant Host now. And now that I've done what I pledged to do, I must return home and bring good tidings to my mother and father. Yet before doing so, there's many others I must thank. In the meantime, can I count on you to meet my family in Tuliolol for one final farewell? My parents will surely be glad to see you again. There we are. So each of these artifacts is an image atop a stick. Interesting. I guess that is convenient for the sake of holding out. Especially since these were apparently used regularly at one point, even if not before. So it makes sense that you'd want to give it a hilt that makes it easy to hold. A handle or whatever, I mean. We are. You can tell these are very clearly a lot more lighthearted and silly, even if there is a genuine threat to them. But it is nice on an individual side quest story, and I'm seeing why they're not needed. Well, the only one that was actually needed for the story was in Shadowbringers. Endwalker, you could ignore them completely if you felt like it. Although those were also pretty depressing, since a big part of them was not only visiting different locations to do the quests, but also learning about who the people were before they became witches, so to speak. Why, President Coda, I'm pleased to say I'm quite recovered since last time we met. Perhaps one day I'll have the chance to save you in return. I didn't expect to see you in Tuliol again so soon. Is Tepeki well? She really did it, and the man who stole our sacred treasure will answer for his deeds. Father, Mother, it's good to see you. I'm sure Koda already told you what happened, but I couldn't have retrieved the treasure without him. So I've heard, yet Koda has already told us about your wits and bravery were essential to your success. Yeah, I need a meat shield, you know? On behalf of our whole village, I thank you for guiding Tepeki on her quest, Koda. Now the push the Apex must be returned and put on careful guard once again. The story of Tyrol Vidrol's demise proves that we are not meant to wield its power as our own. I'm sorry, Father, but I disagree. Once I return to the village, I want to tell everyone what happened here in Thavnair. They need to know what the treasure's capable of and what, or else we risk forgetting it again. I won't deny that Apex's power is dangerous. I saw with my own eyes what happens when it's wielded with abandon. Yet during the course of our search, I also saw potential. If we fully understood how it worked, our people wouldn't without risk. We could use it without risk to ourselves or our people. We could turn something once feared to our advantage, instead of letting it be a scourge and legend. I can see reason to that. We must ever be ready for danger, even in times of peace. Should our safety be threatened, the treasure may grant us a means to protect ourselves. Plus, you know, letting its information be forgotten is kind of what led to the situation to begin with. I mean, the situation certainly would have been a lot easier to figure out sooner if we knew how it worked. But we'd be trusted to use it responsibly. Great power breeds great desire. Same with ambitions, as Verazon may rise again, perhaps coming from among our own. I dare say that once I've regaled with the rise and fall of the Justiciar, they'll think twice before following in his misguided footsteps. As our forebears rely on the legend of the Tyrol Vidrol's fate to forbid the treasure's use, we can rely on his fate to urge caution. And this time we have someone who lived through and to tell the tale. Of course, I'm going to be guiding people in safe use of a potentially dangerous treasure. I see no choice but to inherit my father's position as its guardian. Some may raise their eyebrows at the prospect of loose lips Tekkapi serving as the purchase of the Apex's protector, but I've grown from my mistakes. And who better tell the tale of Verazon and Tepeki's failures? Your only mistake was in trusting Verazon, the same as I and many others. But unlike him, you have the willpower to overcome your own failings. Over the course of your long, arduous journey, you've gained a wealth of experiences, and your efforts have been finally rewarded. You took responsibility, and in doing so proved a conviction. They shall listen to this proposition with open minds, I'm certain. Yeah, telling someone about it isn't the problem. The problem was Verazon was an idiot. Now we must say farewell, for as much as it pains me to do so, I owe you a debt I could never hope to repay. Once I return to the village, I'll do my utmost to protect the treasure we worked to receive. Until next time, may his fortune smile upon you. Thinking about it, I guess these role quests could also be seen as us tutoring someone else, since the person giving these quests so far has not been the person we've been helping with them, but rather are simply a member of the same village, just younger and inexperienced. Even if in the melee quest that was by accident, since we were supposed to be with their best one, we ended up with one of their least experienced, or rather least skilled due to lack of, being unable to see. That said, it was her noticing that glasses are a thing that exist that, reached for the apex. That caused that. It wasn't, us saying, have you issues with eyesight or something? Then again, I guess it depends if we were actually intended to be a tutor of sorts, or if it was just meant to be a kind of, something that came along the way. Either way, these are definitely a lot more lighthearted and a lot less, if we're blunt, a lot less depressing than the Endwalker ones, so I can understand wanting to go in the opposite direction. So far, I'm quite liking them. Even if it's a bit lower scale than before, well, like I said from the main story, I kind of appreciate it a bit. And we still have the mysterious vanishing cushions. Oh yeah. It's raining, so I guess I'll stay in here. But that's going to be all for tonight. Until next time, thank you for watching, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later. Because that is evil, yeah.